Real solution to your thinning hair or hair loss? Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS.
Find out what's causing your hair to fall out. Can your hair grow back? What procedures or products will work? Get to the root of your problem with IHRS's Hair and Scalp Analysis. This analysis magnifies your hair and scalp 400 times to see what procedures can restore your hair. Stop wasting money on solutions that don't work. IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years. They're the only clinic to offer the trademark multi-unit hair grafting, PRP platelet-rich plasma, and the NeoGraft FUE hair transplant procedure. Real solutions, real results.
Schedule your free hair and scalp analysis today. Call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com. Hairforme.com.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. This just in. Colts coach Shane Steichen telling reporters rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson will miss some time with a sprained AC joint in his shoulder. Team, though, not sure how much time that will be. Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell did not rule out receiver Justin Jefferson Sunday versus the Bears. He did say, though, they won't put him back on the field until his strained right hamstring is fully recovered. Giants optimistic about quarterback Daniel Jones playing at Buffalo Sunday. Coach Brian Daboll said that Jones doesn't feel terrible a day after injuring his neck. Patriots coach Bill Belichick sticking with Mac Jones as his starting quarterback despite pulling him in back-to-back blowout losses. Four-time Super Bowl champion Charlie Weis.
Forget about Mac Jones for a second. Who scares you on that offense? I mean, there's no wide receiver threat outside that makes you say, God, we have to stop that guy. They don't have Travis Kelce who's saying, we got to stop that guy.
Charlie Weis on Unsportsmanlike. Monday Night Football tonight. Raiders hosting the Packers. Coverage 8 Eastern on ABC and ESPN. Mannycast on ESPN2.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Cannon. Coming up Tuesday, the 49ers are the clear number one in my power rankings, but how will the rest of my top five shake out? You might be surprised. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
How about me? Who's better than me?
A whole list of people.
No.
Welcome back.
I brought 2 wins home, man.
You did,
I
actually.
mean, what the hell? What else do you guys want from me?
We should send you to London more often.
That is, as long as I don't have to sit next to that guy on the plane, that's cool.
Did you come back with him?
Yep. Guess what? He was great this time.
Oh, cool.
Until I was sleeping in the final hour at about whatever time that it was. And I woke up to orange juice all over my lap.
Oh. No.
This guy, he's unbelievable.
No.
Yeah, that's the end of the story. So if you go all the way back to last Friday, my story about this guy, he was a tough passenger to have to sit next to.
I bet. You ended up with a gift.
Even Weber was like, yeah, man, he's like a wrecking ball.
Orange juice is rough, too. It's a sugary drink. It stinks to high heaven, especially if you don't like it. It's like he could have spilled water on you. It would have been uncomfortable, but the orange juice is way worse.
It wasn't too bad. Probably making it sound worse. I mean, it's on the side. And then, but I had my shoes off, and so there's like a puddle of orange juice with a couple ice cubes.
This guy assaulted you. He assaulted you in your sleep. You have a case here.
That's funny.
Why were your shoes off?
Because it's an 8.5-hour flight, and you're stuck in the middle like two people.
There's no way he wore socks.
Did you wear socks?
Yeah, I did, actually. I did.
All right. I just pictured you in flip-flops on a flight.
There's not really that much time to get all that done after the game and catch it.
Oh, that's right. You're coming from the game. You're not getting dressed.
Yeah, that's one of the few times I've worn socks was on both flights. Not a sock
I
wearer
can't
much.
believe you spilled orange juice on
That was
you.
it. It wasn't too bad.
You're acting like it's not too bad. It's very bad.
No, because the rest of the flight was like, okay. I would actually rather have orange juice on me for 5 minutes than the rest of the flight going there, which was like nonstop something, as I was describing a couple weeks ago.
Well, I remember you were talking about him like falling asleep or falling on you or something like that. To me, that's way easy to fix. I'm giving him a hard shove, like a hard one. And then if he looks at me, and if he's a bigger dude, I'll be like, well, it's turbulence. What's the big deal?
Yeah, he's not a bigger dude either. I just like that I wasn't like embellishing, because this was again overall pretty good. And even Weber was like shaking his head. And he was 2 seats over. So anyway, I did bring back 2 wins.
He's got to be documenting this stuff for us too. Like, he can't just come back having experienced it. He's really got to share with everybody. It's not cool.
He shares a lot, Stuart Weber. But a good trip overall. And one thought about the trip.
All right.
It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
From a everything standpoint. Again, I'm not saying like so good they should do it for 3 weeks. Don't misinterpret. But for what it was, for the first time ever doing it, between the weather, the logistics, no major drama, and 2 wins, which really do make a difference, by the way. Like, that makes a huge difference. I'm not sure it will ever go as well as it just did. The weather alone, you're never getting a week like that. I talked to Shad Khan on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I think I was telling you guys all last week, like, this has got to be the best weather week in the history of London in October. No joke. Sun out every day, hotter here on the weekend than it was here in early October. We may have seen like 3 drops of rain.
Yeah, that's wild.
In 10 days. And Shad, without even prompting him, said something to the effect of, while we were setting up for the interview, it's like, I've been coming to London for 50 years.
I was going to say, he lived there for a bit.
I've never seen a week like this.
That's crazy.
So that's how good it was. And so from just that standpoint, I think it'll be hard to duplicate it. The question is, will they duplicate it? One other story about why, or one facet of this, is why it worked this year, and it might not work every year, is you have to be on the schedule with the teams that are going to play over there. Remember, the Jags were on the schedule with the Titans and the Bills that were having home games over there. So if you're getting that second week and you're the away team, well, you need one of the folks on your schedule to be playing that year in London. It worked out this year.
Sure.
Will it work out like that next year? Who knows? So I don't know if it's a slam dunk. It will be an annual thing like this. I do think it happens again at some point.
Yeah.
And maybe as soon as next year. And then we could even look into the construction years of the stadium. If that's a go, could it even happen on like 2 occasions?
Yeah,
you know?
possibly. I think I know your take on this. I think I might have seen you tweet something about it, or I might have heard you talking about it on television. But did you feel the 2 weeks were advantageous to the team overall?
Yeah, and that's like the big story, right, about Buffalo, and Buffalo's complaining about it a little bit, whether it's players from the turf to fans or this or that. And first of all, this is a no-excuse business. So I'll point blankly answer your question. And as the week went along, I would say we felt like it was going to be an advantage for the Jags. And I would say as the game turned out, they dominated the football game against a good football team. And the Jags had not been playing that kind of football. I'll say, yeah, I think it did. Do I think that's why they dominated completely? Like, how much is that? Like, what's the point spread there, right? I have no idea. They dominated them to the point where they might have beat them if it was on the moon, in Buffalo, in Jacksonville, on a river.
You want to talk about a pass with hang time, throw it on the moon.
It's so, like, and some of this is a mentality. And this is where I think the Jags should get more credit than just saying, hey, they were in London, so they got an advantage because they were more acclimated.
Okay.
You have to embrace being in London in a tent for a locker room, at a hotel with a golf course for a field, without the amenities that they just built for you. Like, you have to do those things and talk yourself into being there, out an hour and 15 minutes outside of London where there's really nothing to do. So, yeah, do I think the acclimation of your body helped? Absolutely. But I think you also have the right mindset and frame of mind to be able to play well over there if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars. But it was on many levels a sloppy game in terms of how many penalties there were and things like that.
Sure.
And I think we see that year after year over there. I think we see some sloppiness because of the fatigue and people are not at their peak performance levels. So, yeah, I do think the Jags got a little bit of advantage, but I also don't think that's the only reason they won the football game. I think that would be unfair to them. And you know what? Buffalo, they don't have to go on Thursday night into Friday. If they thought that was a disadvantage, they could have left Monday. The Baltimore Ravens are leaving today.
Yeah, saw that.
For London. And they're playing there this week. And the Titans probably aren't going until later in the week. So totally up to your logistics team or everything else. And that's on the coaching staff to figure that out, what's the best way to go. So I thought McDermott got out-coached. I thought Josh Allen got outplayed, and maybe they got out-logisticked as well by the Jags organization. Who knows? But I do think it's a little bit of a lazy national narrative to say that's why they lost the game, and I got kind of on some of those folks a little bit this morning.
Yeah, along the lines of a lazy national narrative, do you think the injury narrative is a lazy national narrative?
Yeah, I do, because the injuries are injuries. I mean, the Jags lost 2 linemen Walker Little played how many snaps at left guard, and then they were on to another left guard, even though he was just playing there for the first time. For a series or two, Blake Hance was their third left tackle at a left tackle for them. Zay Jones left the game again. They go back to Tim Jones. I get it. The injuries are mounting up for the Buffalo Bills. That's part of it. And the Jags did get healthier going into the game. They got people back. They got Zay. They got Jamal. They got Cam Robinson, right? So
they ended up losing 2 out of 3 during the game.
Again, I mean, those things are a little luck and a little bit of just what timing of what's your situation versus theirs. You know, listen, if they get Von Miller back and they play him in a month, Von Miller might get more snaps. He didn't have many snaps. So, Kasey, the bottom line is the Jags dominated the football game. They absolutely kicked the Buffalo Bills' ass, like up and down the field, just not on the scoreboard, which what else is new? I mean, the scoreboard just isn't lighting up for the Jags this year, but they crushed the Bills yesterday.
Yeah, they did. They really did.
Did you get worried at the end, Case?
No, like
there wasn't a little bit in the back of your head. Oh, here we go, Jags again.
No, just because onside kick. You're not getting the onside kick. Like if
it was up in the air for a little bit.
If there would have been timeouts,
the whole city took a collective gasp and was like, and then it was okay.
If there would have been timeouts, yeah, absolutely, because Buffalo can do that. What I don't understand about Buffalo is why they try to do all of this other stuff for 4 quarters. Just do that. Just tell your receivers to run straight slants. Someone's getting open. Josh Allen's going to, I don't understand why they do all this other weird, stupid stuff. Just, drop back and let him cook. Because when they need those moments at the end of the games, it works. But it doesn't work the rest of the game. Buffalo's confusing.
Josh Allen can normally extend a play like no other in the business outside of maybe Pat Mahomes.
It's wild.
You know what's crazy about the whole thing? Is Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, again, their offense was pretty non-existent except for the last 3-4 minutes of the first half and the final 4 minutes of the game, really 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Didn't do a whole lot. He ends up with 358 yards passing.
It's ridiculous.
And I'm like, what?
Thank goodness.
That did not feel like that. You know, usually you end up 358, you're all over the place. Did not feel like it. The one thing that I left when Etienne scored, I had to go to the bathroom, go grab the equipment, meet Stewart on the field because we'll do a post-game interview. We actually end up doing with Etienne. And I got down to the equipment to get the equipment in the media room, and they were on the 1-yard line. I was like, what in the world is going on here? What just happened? It's not even the 2-minute warning yet. They got the ball at 2:56.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. That cannot happen. I don't even know what happened. I got to go back and watch it. But 3 plays and they were into the end zone, 75 yards?
Yep.
That can't happen.
It did.
Fix that, please.
Yeah.
Even if they just score on the other side of the 2-minute warning, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But you cannot let that happen. What did happen there?
It was one of the many times I think Josh Allen ripped off a few different chunks with these big-time throws, for sure.
Yeah.
And there were a few opportunities the Jags got out of that, like that big-time interception by, I think it was Darius Williams.
Yeah. Well, listen, Josh Allen, again, we talk about 358. He's a brilliant quarterback, right? Very, very good. He just wasn't the better guy on this day. In fact, Stephon Diggs got behind the Jags defense whenever it was, should have been a touchdown. He had to come back and get it like it was a punt into the wind, and there was no win. And then the one that Williams picked off, Diggs is behind him again. He's got a huge arm.
Not that huge.
And he underthrew it. So, and Williams did a good job of closing on it. So,
great job.
Bottom line is Josh Allen didn't make the throws when he had to make the throws, or it might have really been a flip of the game. And I thought Trevor, man, you might have seen it on Twitter. I just thought he was brilliant. And everybody's going to look at the fumbles, which is crazy that we do that because you look at those plays when you lose. You don't look at those plays when you win. Yet we're still magnified by like the fumble from Trevor Lawrence. Listen, the first fumble, it's on Cam Robinson. Every quarterback in the National Football League fumbles that ball while the hand is in motion, and your guy got beat right off the jump, all right? So that's not on Trevor. The other one is on Trevor, absolutely. But do you want me to count how many throws he made in this football game?
Some ridiculous.
To allow you to win?
Ridiculous throws.
The show's 3 hours. You might as well.
There are some ridiculous throws that are on tape for Trevor.
I just don't understand why people keep coming back with, yeah, but he fumbled. Yeah, but he fumbled. Yeah, but he fumbled. So what? He overcame it. Like, fine. Like, that's okay. That gets pushed aside, just like the 4 interceptions get pushed aside when you come back and beat the Chargers in the playoffs. Like, that's the way the sports world works. Like, whether you like it or not, we look at the good plays when you win. And the bad plays, fine, you can mention it here or there, but let's not make that be the headline for the folks that don't think Trevor Lawrence played well because he fumbled twice and one which was totally out of his control. You got to look at this thing different because you're missing 2 big throws out of the end zone, a big throw to Zay Jones, all the big throws to Calvin Ridley, the audible on 3rd and 4, the toughness that he keeps getting up after getting crushed this season almost every third play. The legs in London were awesome for Trevor Lawrence. Like, don't miss this. This guy is a game changer for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you just won 2 games in London because you have a franchise quarterback that this team has never had. Never.
I don't even want to talk about that. Was such a good – I love that right there. That's literally as real as it gets right there. And then the other silver lining is this. How many games this year do you think Trev is going to fumble the ball 3 times? It's not going to happen again, and you won the game where it happened.
I mean, he has fumbled the ball a little bit even last year during the run. He's fumbled. He sometimes tries to do too much. And we've talked about this a lot over the years. The Denver pick in the end zone, the Houston pick in the end zone.
There was one play that way yesterday.
Yeah, those are plays where I feel like when Trevor's feeling it, and he was feeling it even early. He came out of the gates throwing really well and, again, hit Zay Jones and a couple other big plays even in the first half when they were moving the ball. In fact, he had 192 yards throwing the ball, which is the most he's ever had in the first half in the NFL. And I think when he gets feeling, he's like, okay, I'm going to make every play. I'm just going to make every play. But he's got to know to tuck it. And I actually thought he was tucking it on the one fumble, and then all of a sudden he got spun around, and that tuck came
I thought he was trying to throw
loose.
that. Was the backwards pass a fumble too?
He got a 3rd fumble, but was that Fortner?
Yeah, the bad snap.
The bad snap, does Trevor get the fumble on that?
Didn't it hit him?
Yeah, the fumble goes to Trevor.
It shouldn't. I mean, that was a high snap, right? Wasn't that on Fortner?
Was it over him or did it hit him? I thought
he
hit
touched
him.
it.
Yeah.
But I think they both, in the scorebook, they both got a fumble on that. Unless there's another fumble that I'm missing for Trevor or something. But Fortner got credit. Like, they had 4 fumbles in the game and lost the 2.
Yeah, Trevor
But
is
is it
credited
possible
with
for
3.
both of them to get a fumble on the same play?
Doesn't seem like
No.
So I'm missing something. But there wasn't a backward lateral, was there?
I thought there was. To Agnew, maybe? Someone was in the back or Etienne.
I thought they called it incomplete right away. Yeah, they called it incomplete.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. But the bottom line, listen, guys, even the Atlanta game was a game where the quarterback made a difference. And I thought this game was, again, the quarterback made a difference. There's a lot of other people making a difference. That's what this game set apart. That's why they almost had 500 yards of offense. Calvin Ridley was awesome. Christian Kirk was awesome again. Travis Etienne was awesome. The defense was terrific. The secondary continues to really ball out, even though Williams got picked on a little bit here and there. So many of the folks in the secondary are playing good football right now. The tackling is really good. So there's a lot going on here, but I'm just telling you, you do not throw. My 2 favorite throws might have been the 2 out of the end zone. I just think most years, Jags quarterbacks, Jags coaching staffs, they call like a draw play there and try to run it out and punt it away. And they don't. They put the ball in his hands. And I'll tell you the other thing that I like about Trevor right now is he's got some kahunas. Like, he ain't afraid to go after the big one, even on the 3rd and 4, right? Can make a safe play there.
Yeah.
Instead, he's like, nah, screw that. Let's audible this and win it. Like, that says a lot to me about where he's at. Now, it can get him in trouble. Go back to the Kansas City game on the 1-yard line. It's like, don't worry, I got this. No, you don't. -4 yards on the first and goal from the 1, right? But you do like that the quarterback is kind of taking the ownership of it and is like, listen, put it in my hands. I'm good. We don't have to run anymore on 3rd and 1. Let me throw it, and I'll find Christian Kirk. We're cool. I'll do this. It's I just don't think we should be overlooking some of these things that Trevor Lawrence is doing, guys. This is a game changer in Jacksonville, and while we were having fun with his 24th birthday, he is 24, which means you got this for like a decade in Jacksonville.
Decade and a half.
At least.
Just closing the loop on the fumbles. On that Fortner snap, Fortner gets the fumble on the snap. Trev on the recovery fumbled it out of bounds. Second fumble on the
good
play.
Call. Okay. Oh, that's right. Now you're right. Now I remember he picked it up. Yeah, it was 3rd and 36 at one time.
Yes. Yeah.
That was
Trev's like, we do this in our sleep. Don't worry about it.
That was a disaster, that part. So, hey, I believe, and I asked Evan Ingram this, and he didn't come this far with me. And I don't know if I disagree with him. I asked him, was it a crossroads these 2 weeks? Like, was the season at a crossroads at 1 and 2?
Hard to ask before it's happened for them, too. You're going to probably not find too many guys in that locker room who go, yeah, no, we've turned it around now.
Yeah. I mean, I asked him after they had won 2 if it was a crossroads 2 weeks ago when they were lost to Houston the way they did. And in fairness, I think he was right with his answer. His answer was, it's a long season, right? I mean, it's hard to say as a crossroads in late September, early October. But what I would say then to that is the Jags just flipped their season these last 2 weekends. There was thought, and you got to get here now. Remember what you were thinking after they lost to Houston 37-17. You're like, whoa, this offensive line's not good. The pass rush we're not sure about. Special teams just played a disaster. You've got a pretty good Atlanta team, a dangerous one, and a very good Buffalo team coming up next. You could be, if you don't figure this out, 1 and 4. You're probably going to be 2 and 3, even if you do the split. They flipped it. And now they have a chance. And what do they do the next 3 weeks with the flipping of this, Kasey, is what I'm interested in. Because you get Indy at home with Minshew playing quarterback, and then you go to the Saints. I think this is tough stretch. 3 different games in 12 days in 3 different time zones. That's harder than people think. And then you get Pittsburgh down the road before the bye. But if the Jags do go on a run, and they do start lighting up the scoreboard, Kasey, the turning point was these last 2 weeks, and now they're putting themselves in a position where everybody thought they might be in.
Yeah, I mean, you can say, it's a tough go with the teams they're playing in the time zones and on the road and all that, but they're playing 3 teams that are not as good as them on paper, just period. The Jags have a better quarterback than all those teams. They got better coaches, maybe outside of Tomlin, but still, they're going to be favored to win all of those games. Some of those spreads will be large. So if they can just take care of their business, then, yeah, you'll be feeling a lot differently about this.
It's weird to say, and I had somebody tweet at me, like, look at the next 3 weeks. The 3 weeks are very winnable games. It's just hard for me to go there in the NFL. This was a very losable game yesterday for the Jags. Houston was the most winnable game they've had in a long time around here, and they lost it. The NFL is just too damn goofy for me to sit there and be like, they're going to win the next 3 games. But I don't think Casey's wrong either. I think they do have the better players, the better team, the better coaching, the better quarterback. And if they play good ball, which, by the way, the offense still has not erupted on the scoreboard, Aaron. I mean, they could find themselves 6-2 by the bye, at the very worst 5-3 if they do what they're supposed to do.
I was curious how you guys felt about that, because while it wasn't an explosive day on the scoreboard, 25 points, you're talking about Trev with a great day. Like a great day, especially on 3rd and 4th down. Untouchable, right? Etienne, monster day. Calvin Ridley, monster game. And you even had some pretty good games there from a guy like Christian Kirk, who's not flashing out of the stat line, but was there when you really needed him to. And so I guess my question for you guys is, when I used to hear explosive offense, I would think 40-yard pass to Ridley, 20-yard pass to Kirk, running chunks down the field. Is this a different kind of explosive offense where they can come at you from any angle and break off 5, 10, 15, 20 yards when they need to?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I actually think this offense is clicking when they do what they did with the 17-play drive and the 10-play drive, and they had a 9-player, an 8-player. Like, those are the drives that I think when Doug is kind of in his bag or Press Taylor is in his bag and Trevor's feeling good and they got the rhythm going, that's where I feel this offense is. But they do have the capabilities of, with 1:14 on the clock, they get the ball at their own 25 late in the half, and they drive, boom, right down the field. Now, they fumbled it because it was a fumble and a bad blocking by Cam Robinson on that play, but they were there. Like, they have the ability to be there and score. Their problem is they just haven't scored in those instances. I mean, yesterday's performance was almost 500 yards. Yesterday's performance had 200 yards rushing, a 300-yard passer, and 38 minutes time of possession. Kasey, they should have scored 40 points yesterday in that football game.
Well, I mean, if they just take care of their business and don't fumble, they score 50. I mean, if you do what you should have done, at the bare minimum, you're scoring over 30 if you kick field goals there and if you're Cam Robinson, you don't get beat, and if you're Trevor, you don't fumble. So in terms of explosive offense, that's what I thought they would be. Like, I thought that was exactly what we were going to see against Houston and somewhat against Kansas City. Like, that's it. They have the quarterback that can make every throw. They should be able to run it when they want to. And I thought their offensive line would be leaky, so you got to get rid of it. Like, that's exactly what I pictured their offense being for since we've been talking about this when the season ended in January.
But this is different to me in that these short passes, these 3 to 5 yard passes, whether it's out in the flat or right in front of the line, which he did a fair amount of as well, those are essentially running plays. We've kind of talked about that before. This ended up being a ball control game for the Jaguars through the pass. That was wild to me. I mean, sure, Etienne had a ton of yards on the ground, but they really controlled the clock through a lot of those short passes. And to your point, 9-play drive, 8-play drive, 7, 17, 10. I mean, there was a ton of control in this game, and that is not the game I was expecting from the Jaguars.
Well, it's the game when they had to do it last year against Kansas City in the second half, they did it. When they had to do it at times, they did it. Like, that's what I really like about Doug last year, and again, Press and Trevor. When they're in a rhythm, they can put together those 12, 13-play drives. I used it as an example last week. When they came off their own goal line against Atlanta, they drove 13 plays for 7 minutes. They ended up kicking a field goal. See, I think that was a good sign for their offense, that they had 13-play drive. It was like, okay, that's a little bit more in rhythm of what we're seeing. A lot of that has to do with making third downs.
Yes.
Well, they were 10 of 18 on third downs. They were 7 of 10, I believe it was, in the second half. Trevor was 9 of 10 passing on third downs, which is ridiculous. And by the way, the one incomplete was Zay Jones on the sideline. Should have been caught for a first down. So the Jags still have these miscues, but they amassed a lot of yards, chewed up a lot of time. And sooner or later, guys, that's going to convert to a cleaner game, which lands at 38 points, Kasey, 35 points pretty easily.
Yeah. I think that's just what it is. And hopefully they can continue that and have some consistency, because that's the one thing that they've struggled with for this regime has struggled with consistently doing this.
I'll give you one more thing. It's insane when an NFL team runs 82 plays.
82
they ran
plays
82
is a lot of plays. Wow.
That's a lot. So they ran it 40 times. 40 times. Like, that is a lot in the NFL. This is not the Big 12. All right? That's usually like a 60 to 65 play game. That will show you how much they dominated, and no doubt Buffalo felt it by the end. That's where the big runs came, and Etienne got loose.
By the way, great to see Cam Robinson in for 85 of those plays.
Wow.
First game back, that's what the count is.
He had 85 plays.
That's what it says.
Well, he meant special teams. Some special teams plays probably on there.
Still, much more than I would have expected to see from a guy who hasn't played in half a year.
We take a break. Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Jags 3-2. Minshew Mania in Indianapolis come to town on Sunday. But let's continue to talk about this win over Buffalo when we come back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly sunny skies and pleasant temperatures on this Monday after a chilly start. We'll be back in the 70s and low 80s this afternoon. It'll be chilly again tonight, though, with mostly clear skies and temperatures back down in the 40s and lower 50s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Don't miss Beards' incredible buy one, get one on wedding bands now through October 31st.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Valor Bare Knuckle is back in Jacksonville. The legend Ken Shamrock playing host, and the card is highlighted with a heavyweight bout. Valor Bare Knuckle highlights combat sports in its truest form. It's one night, October 27th, and it's at UNF Arena, an intimate setting surrounding the electrifying bout circle. October 27th at UNF Arena. For ticket information, go to valorbk.com. Don't miss it. Raw, electric, exhilarating. Valor Bare Knuckle 2 in Jacksonville, October 27th, valorbk.com.
Get into the game at Best Bet. Come enjoy the best in-card games, hospitality, and fun at Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park. You don't have to be a poker pro to have a great time. Featuring poker games of all limits and easy-to-learn games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and Pai Gow. Wager on exciting simulcast races and enjoy delicious food and drink. Our card rooms are open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. and 24 hours on Saturday and Sunday. Details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Shop the Beaches Green Market this and every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Penman Park on Penman Road for fresh local fruits and vegetables, plants, meats, eggs, baked goods, honey, wellness products, and so much more. EBT cards welcome. Diglocal.org for more info.
Come on, honey. It's so hot that...
It's too hot for your cheesy riddles.
Come on, please. It's so hot that...
Fine. How hot is it?
It's so hot, chickens are laying hard-boiled eggs. It's so hot, we're boiling pasta in the pool. It's so hot that...
Yeah, I get it. It's hot.
It's not just hot. It's Hammond hot.
And only Hammond can handle Hammond Hot. Any AC company can handle kind of hot, sort of hot, maybe even pretty hot. But when your system is running 24 hours a day, you can't get to the temperature you want, and you strategically open and close vents to redirect air, that's when you have to call Hammond. After all, Hammond has been North Florida's most trusted AC authority for your neighbors since 1957. With techs who not only know how to get your system running again, but also how to keep it running at peak efficiency and performance. Remember, only Hammond can handle Hammond Hot. HammondAir.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Car Bravo is here at Nimnick Buick GMC, a better way to shop used vehicles with transparent pricing. Nimnick Buick GMC has joined the Car Bravo family and is the only Car Bravo dealer in Northeast Florida. Hey, it's a win-win for everyone. You always win at Nimnick Buick GMC. I've always won 6 different cars purchased for our family. Terrific selection of used cars under $20,000 at Nimnick. Experience used for you with Car Bravo online at nimnickbuickgmc.com or visit the showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
You don't even like your quarterback.
Kasey Kuhrts.
You don't even like your team.
And Aaron Schachter.
I don't even like myself, guys. Do you know me?
On Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio, ESPN 690.
So much to talk about with this football game and this football team. 3-2 now, which is a great place to be. 3-2 is okay. I know how it shook out. And actually how it did shake out. Would you take the Houston loss and trade it for the Buffalo win?
Yeah, because Buffalo does not think they can beat the Jags. Going back for a couple of years, their fans definitely think it on Twitter. But I'm telling you, it's a thing. I guarantee you, if they have to play this team again somewhere down the line, Buffalo's not going to be thrilled about that.
I got to tell you, better than Jags versus Bills is Jags fans versus Bills fans on Twitter.
Yeah, this really blew up, huh?
It really did.
People are so dumb.
It was good stuff.
Not Jags fans, Bills fans.
Like,
shut up.
So people as in Bills fans.
Yeah, if you're in Buffalo, you're dumb.
I'm kind of catching it like
you're catching
after the
strays
fact.
a little bit.
Well, no, just I couldn't see all of it because again, it's a little bit of a hustle getting on the plane and all that, so you don't digest what's going on.
Yeah,
and then you're airplane mode from there on. So, like, was there something that started it, or is it just Bills fans complaining because they lost?
Yeah, there's a lot of like complaining about the turf.
Oh, the turf. Yeah, I did see a little bit of that.
And yeah, it's
because
like,
O'Halloran tweeted it out. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like, well, as far as I understand it, they didn't roll out a whole second turf when the Jags got the ball. So those arguments don't work here, unfortunately.
Sense a little sarcasm in your voice, Case.
But by the way, it did not look like a great surface to play football on.
No.
By the way, like Jags won, so it's cool. But like slipping and sliding, and then you heard what they said post game. They said it was awful. Not the Jags,
concrete,
but the Bills. So like,
those guys, the Jags didn't. And again, we're not really asking about that, but I didn't notice too many slips out there because Wembley, you notice slips, but I just wasn't looking for it. I was thinking maybe turf, you're not going to see it. But I will tell you this. It's interesting that story came out after because you might have seen me tweet before the game, Roger Goodell. He was out there, and he was, like, looking at the field.
He was a little concerned probably.
And then Zay Jones came by, and he stopped Zay Jones and was – I mean, it was pretty clear in my video. I don't know what he was saying exactly, but it was pretty clear he was asking about the playing surface because even Zay Jones then showed, like, his cleats that he had on and stuff like that. So it's interesting that was top of mind. And I think somebody told me that this was, like, now this latest and greatest kind of turf because Tottenham is like the latest and greatest kind of everything.
Right.
And I don't know if this is the turf of the future or whatever, but
they didn't like it.
Obviously the Bills didn't like it. They also didn't like traveling to London. They also didn't like sleeping not enough. They also didn't like getting pushed around by the Jags. So I don't know which one is bigger piece of the pie.
All those go together, yeah.
But yeah, the Bills fan base was there loud and proud, no surprise. In fact, I'll tell you one thing that surprised me in the postgame for Trevor Lawrence. They said they didn't anticipate having to use the silent count. They should have asked me. I'm a little surprised during the week they didn't think there would be that many Bills fans there that would get loud. It wasn't surprising to see Bills fans there to me.
I mean, maybe they
their
thought
home game.
Even with the Bills fans there'd be enough just NFL fans in the building. It would drown it out a little bit.
Well, I think the Jags have played over there so many times, and this is what they were thinking. They're like, well, it's a very neutral crowd for the most part, right? Even with the Jags fans there, they know when to be quiet. There were a lot of them at Wembley, but you do see a lot of other jerseys, and there was plenty of that still. But Bills fans are built a little bit different now. I mean, they're going to get loud, and they're going to get proud, and no surprise that it was loud to me. And so Trevor said in his postgame remarks, like they had to go to the silence count, and they did fine with it. I think they had one false start, Brendan Sheriff.
Who had a great game pass blocking, by the way.
Did he?
Yeah.
They are making way too many mistakes on the offensive line still, right? Harrison, ineligible. Harrison, hold. Sheriff, false start. Fortner, bad snap. Cam had a rough day. Now, hopefully he'll get a little bit better. He hadn't played football in a long time, but still, can't be that rough at times. Like, you can't allow the play at the end of the half. You just can't. That was just a jailbreak to get to your quarterback. I continuously be concerned with Trevor being upright. He has taken a lot of hits. I think he has taken more hits in the last month than he took in his first 2 years in Jacksonville. I really believe that. I don't know if that's true, but he's getting way too beat up, and they're negating too many big plays. They did play well at times now. Like, there were certain – I thought he had a big pocket in some times, like, out of the end zone. Like, I thought they pass blocked in crucial situations pretty well. And then, obviously, at the end of the day, you run for 200 yards, so they did enough in the run game. They kept with it and finally broke the back of the Bills. Kasey, did you come out of this game thinking anything different about your dislike for the offensive line?
I tweeted during the game that Trevor will get hurt before the end of the season if he has to keep playing behind this team.
So a positivity tweet.
It's clear as day. Like, there's every game this year, there's been one play where it's like, holy cow, he's not getting up. There was one last week. There was one against Atlanta. There's one every week where it's like, oh, his leg might not supposed to bend that way. And then, unbelievably so, he gets up every time. And I'm just like, holy cow, I can't believe it. Because we've seen injuries that don't look like anything, and then it's something, right? And then especially on that turf, after everyone was sliding around, I was like, this is the one he's not getting up. He got up, thank goodness. But, like, don't want it to happen, clearly. Knock on wood, all that. He will get hurt behind these boys. They're not good enough.
Well, the injury update today, by the way, is Cam Robinson's fine. It was a hyperextended elbow, and he ends up coming back in anyway and told me he was fine after the game, and they said he's fine today. Doug did. MRI on Walker Little. That's not a great sign when he's going to get the MRI.
Sure.
So and he was a pretty good limp, but on his own power coming out of the locker room yesterday. Zay Jones and MRI, that did not look good. He was very slow going for Zay Jones, and I don't even remember the play it happened on. We saw him in the blue tent. and he was in there for quite a bit. But, man, the more and more I look at this football team, Zay Jones is a very important part of this. I know they have a lot of weapons on the outside, but Zay Jones, that dude is an underrated player, man.
Oh, sure. And you see it the second he gets in the game and then catches a beautiful touchdown at the beginning of the game.
Such a good catch.
In hindsight, you may look at that surface and go, maybe it wasn't a great idea to bring back the guy whose knee is in pain.
Yeah, it seemed like it's a similar injury, so he's getting an MRI. I think outside of that, the Jags are doing okay. They could get the one Smoot back this week.
It's impressive.
The good news is, again, I'll tell you, the depth shows. I mean, Blake Hance came in for just a few plays, and I think he did okay in that little stretch.
Graded well.
Tyler Shatley, though, being able to go in and play left guard is a significant thing because Walker Little goes out, he can go in, and Ben Barch could go back in if need be. So what they really need to do at the moment is if Walker Little's going to be down for a bit, is they got to keep Cam Robinson healthy, and he's going to continue to progress in a hurry and get back up to speed to playing the kind of ball where he's getting paid $17 million a year.
Yeah, and now you're talking about losing 2 or 3 guys on the line, and the next guys up are guys you've had start before or at least play significant time. So worrisome, sure. Is it the weakest link of the chain so far? Yeah, it looks like it has been, but I think you could be in worse situation on that line with these injuries than you are.
You could. You just can't be having as many negative plays as you're having with them. That's my bigger thing. I think injuries are going to happen. I think everybody's not going to love their offensive line through the course of a season. It's tough to get all 5 guys playing well. There are going to be breakdowns, but they can't have a bad snap. They can't have breaking free on your blind side. They can't have 2 penalties when you go roll off a 25-yard play to get into the other territory and really try to go break the game open. They can't continue to do that. They're going to allow some sacks. You're going to get hit as a quarterback. But right now, to me, it's too many. He got sacked 5 times yesterday, and just too many hits. I mean, the way they play their offense, like he's taking hits knowingly anyway because he's got a free runner coming at him on like the 3rd and 4 Ridley play. Like he knows he's going to get hit. That's different.
It's still a hit.
It's still a hit, though. So then you add those to the 5 sacks, and now you're getting hit a dozen times. I think he was under pressure 22 times, I think it was. I thought I saw DeRocco say that with ESPN stats and info, but it was like 22 times. That's half the dropbacks. Like that can't happen. That reminds me of the Washington game last year. It was like half the dropbacks. Buffalo's a good front. But you know what? It's a National Football League. There are a lot of good fronts. What's going to happen when you play the San Francisco 49ers?
Sit them. They're just going to get killed.
Sounds like sit everybody. Everybody's afraid of the Niners right now.
Just chalk it up. Just tell them not to make don't make the trip. Just, hey, we're good.
So I'm concerned about that adding up. I'm just concerned about that adding up, kind of like you are, Kasey. Like he's a tough guy, and that's what I came out of yesterday thinking with a lot of that as my narrative is, you know, when you got the long hair and you're like the generational guy and 6'6", and you look the part and you got the rifle arm, you can make every throw. You're elegant running the football. Nobody wants to give you credit for being tough.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily project toughness. Yeah.
Dude's
he's
tough,
boy.
He's tough. He's a tough kid.
Because he is getting walloped.
He's getting hit a lot.
And he's again, I told you earlier, he's got some kahunas on him, but he's fearless. He's really a fearless player. And I honestly didn't know that coming out of Clemson. But you're starting to see that. And that exudes if you got the chance to go check out social media and or watch Primetime last night on Fox 30, CBS 47, or maybe tonight Jags Report Live will play some of it. What his teammates said about him after that game, I think's just I thought this was a 2 weeks where Trevor, the franchise quarterback, already meant so much to everybody in that room, but I feel like it got elevated another notch or two in these 2 weeks. And I thought from the words and the way they look at you when you're answering and how their head nods and their eyes light up about Trevor, I think he just earned himself another rung up the ladder these last 2 weeks with his teammates.
Now, earning it is the right word, too. He's out there showing and proving. He's doing the talk. He's walking the walk as well. Looking at the stats, even from his rookie year, which was a mess with Urban Meyer, the pressure to sack percentage, the amount of times pressures turn into sacks, his rookie year and his second year nearly identical, just over 14%. This year it's already at 20%.
Wow.
And it needs to come down.
Yeah, they need to get better. No doubt about it. So much to talk about with the Jets. Before we take a break, real quick, though, we were talking about Zay Jones. I hope he's not out for too long. Because I do think this offense is different with Zay Jones. And when I look out on the field, with all due respect to him, when I see Tim Jones out there from multiple plays and Zay Jones is off in the 3 wide receiver sets, I'm like, yeah, like he's capable, but he's not Zay Jones. Like he's not even close to Zay Jones. So while I know they have depth and Calvin playing big and Kirk playing big and Ingram's playing big and Etienne's playing big, Kasey, I think Zay Jones, man, really gives them an element that if they are going to click and light up scoreboards, they need him.
Yeah, Zay Jones real good. He always seems like he makes a play. I know there was a drop yesterday, but it feels like when he's in there, plays are getting made. He makes plays. It's criminally underrated. And that's a guy who in former Jags seasons would be the undoubted best receiver you've ever seen play. And on this team, he's like a third guy, and you somewhat forget about him, but you can't because he's that good. He makes plays for him. So I agree.
It's a really good point. Different times in the last 10 years, he would have been wide receiver 1 on multiple franchises for this, multiple teams for this organization.
Yeah, they're so deep there now. But I think Kaylee, sorry, Kasey.
Sorry, Kaylee.
Okay, sorry, Kaylee. Kasey made a good point. You said something that we've been preaching about a while around here. Make plays. I don't know how the hell he caught that ball for that first touchdown.
Amazing.
I agree.
It made me text Kasey. I was so amazed.
I mean, it was a tremendous throw too. Like I really thought it was a great throw. If you go back and look at it, you know how sometimes they'll glow the ball and follow it like on the breakdowns, whatever. Like that's one they should have gone zoom. Like just the trajectory of that pass. But for Zay to get it in the feet, he had it against Indianapolis as well as where he made the other terrific one. Making plays. That sparks the team early. They made a play early. They got the lead. That's what we've been talking about.
You saw Ridley with a couple of these, too, where it's like, how is he grabbing that ball?
Yeah, we're talking more about Ridley in a bit.
It's not even just those plays that you're talking about, Brent. If you go back to last year, it's like we've done this with Trevor. Like, what are the plays you remember? It feels like every catch that Zay Jones has had has been, like, super important. Playoff game against the Chargers. He gets wide open. 2-point conversion. Like, every Zay play, it feels like, is like, holy cow, they needed that.
That's a good point. You know what's funny is that's as good of a point as Christian Kirk's don't look as sexy, but they're huge.
Yeah, for
you know what I mean?
Important, yeah.
Very important plays, but they're not as crazy.
No, because 5 yards on 3rd and 4 doesn't look great in his stat book the next day, but in the game, it's like, yes, the guy we rely on comes through again.
Yeah, those plays that go right out of bounds, right? Like that he catches it right a yard before and sitting in the zone or the honey hole or whatever it is. I mean, those are big plays too, but it's funny Kasey says that. You're right. In my mind, Zay's making these like highlight. He's very Marvin Jones-esque in that form, right? Marvin was making these. When he made a play, it's like you remember him. And that's okay. Both ways are okay. I'm not saying one's better than the other. It's just an interesting dynamic that the Jags have a guy that kind of does it boring, but collects like 8 catches a game for 80 yards, and they're all pretty big in their own right. And then they've got a guy that, man, they look electric as well.
Case, your case bulky at the end of the season. You got to decide between Kirk and Zay Jones. What are you doing?
I think we got to go to break. Music's playing.
Brent and Friends on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet. Now open in St. Augustine.
ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. We'll have 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000. All you have to do is enter the correct keyword at ESPN690.com to be eligible to win. This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply. ESPN 690 pays your bills. Sponsored by Arlington Toyota with over 800 new and used vehicles available. Weekdays at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 2 and 5 p.m. Tune in to win from ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
In 1958, the world was introduced to Buddy Guy. Don't miss the legend live. The Damn Right Farewell Tour. Friday, October 20th, the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Special guest, Chris Stone, Kingfish Ingram. Tickets on sale now at theamp.com. The Damn Right Farewell Tour. Buddy Guy.
Hey, it's Brian Middleton, and I made the choice to do something about my weight. I chose Awaken 180 weight loss. In only 5 weeks, I've already dropped 28.6 pounds. Life-changing results in just over a month. What's stopping you? Awaken180weightloss.com.
Exergen thermometers are proven to be more accurate than non-contact thermometers. With children back at school, keeping them healthy is important. Clinical studies have proven that non-contact thermometers are inaccurate and can miss fevers. Accuracy matters. That's why the Exergen thermometer is trusted and used by medical professionals. Exergen thermometers are available at Walmart and other participating retailers. Choose a trusted and accurate thermometer for personal use. Learn more about why accuracy matters at Exergen.com.
The Chief is always tracking to give you the first alert.
Get into something sturdy. If you're in a mobile home, you gotta get out.
When summer season in Florida becomes storm season, put your trust in Action News Jack's First Alert Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish to warn you first.
Stop traveling, get to the side of the road, let the storm pass.
No one can get you better prepared before the next storm hits.
Take shelter right now.
Mike Burrish and the Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Team, because knowing first matters most.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Victim of a slip and fall? It takes one phone call to take back control of your life. Anajar and Levine will fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Call me, Mark Anajar, for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690. Hey, let's head to the phone lines here after a win for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a Victory Monday in Jacksonville. Good to be back here on U.S. soil. Jags 3-2 now on the season. Brent Martineau, Kasey Kuhrts, Aaron Schachter on a Monday on ESPN 690. Steven, let's get to you first. Hope you're having a fantastic day after a good weekend, we hope.
It's Victory Monday. Of course I'm having a good day. I got to give it up. I got to give it up to the offense. They started clicking. And, I mean, around that fourth quarter, the 45-second drive for Buffalo kind of sucks. But it had an upside. Their defense was already sucking gas. They had nothing left, and you only gave them 45 seconds to sit on the bench. And then we just have a long drive. And I want to say this, that roughing the passer call on Josh Allen on his sack was BS. Even the ref they have on call during the game said that shouldn't have been called. And for Aaron, since you are a Jets fan, why Rich Eisen is pom-pomming for the Buffalo Bills, and he's a Jets fan.
That's right.
Kind of blows my mind a little.
Yeah, I think above being a Jets fan, he's a media personality, and he likes those relationships. But you're right. Seeing Rich Eisen give a little kisses to the Buffalo Bills is a little nauseating.
Thanks, Steven. Appreciate the call. What's interesting is I've had a lot of people say it. I wasn't listening to the game, but I was just talking to my mom, and she watched because it's on NFL Network. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, they were saying so many great things about Trevor Lawrence. I was like, that's not what they're saying back home. Not enough good things about Trevor Lawrence. I do believe that. I've always said this. I think people hear what they want to hear, a lot of times. No, just
sure.
A lot of people don't like Joe
It's
Buck.
called confirmation bias. Yeah.
A lot of people don't like Joe Buck because, like, especially when he would call Cubs games, right? Because he was a Cardinals guy growing up. So they know that in the back of their mind. And so I think that does happen. Now, I got on NFL Network this morning or others. Just, you can't sit here and tell me that the Jags didn't play well.
She replied to you.
I know.
You know this?
Yeah, I know she did. Yeah. And I wasn't attacking her.
That was wild.
Yeah, I wasn't attacking her as much as, all right, then tweet out the other stuff too then.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not going to lie. I almost went after her when she replied to you because I had a good one cooked up and I was like, I don't need this on a Monday. I'm not going to be toxic.
Well, and I guess it was after Maria Taylor apparently said.
Yeah, that was rough. That one was.
Which I tweeted this and I kind of took it down because I don't want to attack everybody else. Like, it is what it is. But I actually think that's more responsible anyway. Like, Maria Taylor shouldn't be joking like that as a national broadcaster, like, move to Jacksonville or pay attention to the storylines. I mean, you're coming across like in that's like you're the NFL, right? I mean, that's like an NFL message almost. That's a dangerous place to be if you're Maria Taylor on Sunday Night Football saying, hey, maybe they should move to Jacksonville. Like, you're either not familiar with everything that's transpired over the last decade when it comes to Jacksonville and moving and other things, or it's just irresponsible, I believe. So I think that one was even worse, but I did get on Good Morning Football a little bit. Jamie Erdahl's very nice, too, so I wasn't attacking her. But
she was mad, bro. She replied.
No, but the thing is, and I get what she was saying. What she was saying is, well, I'll get on our social media team to push it out. That's fine. Push them both out.
So that was actually my reply. I was going to be like, you cut it. How about you make? Cut the damn highlight then. Put it on your own thing.
We're protected at NFL Network. We got mojo, man.
That was my thought. I didn't do it. I was like, you know what? I ain't going to do it.
Let's get South Beach Gary before we hit the top of the break. Top of the hour. What's happening, South Beach Gary?
Brent, I got to say, I'm so glad I was wrong and never more glad that I was wrong. Congratulations to the Jags. But I want to talk about all these Bills fans are crying out. All the Jags, it's unfair, competitive advantage. You know, Brent, any cried when the Dolphins in the first 4 weeks played 3 games on the road, the Bills being the 3rd road game in 4 weeks. They didn't cry that the Bills had competitive advantage over the Dolphins in that situation.
Yeah, thanks, South Beach Gary. I get it. Listen, there's
a 0% chance you understood anything.
Well, I get what he's trying to say. He's like, hey, everybody has disadvantages, I think is what he was saying. He was actually saying this in favor of the Jags. But, like, I thought the most egregious one yet of traveling was the Giants having to go play San Francisco on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Like, they had played, like, Sunday night. You got to fly across the country.
That's rough.
To play on short week. Like, that's worse than going to London. Again, London, you can pick how you want to go. We've done it many ways in Jacksonville. We've gone after the Cincinnati game on a Sunday, flown to London, been there Monday morning. They've gone Monday, get there like Tuesday morning or late Monday night. Then they've chosen, okay, we're going to go on Friday morning. This is the way to do it, and a lot of teams have adopted that. And the other thing about it is I didn't hear anybody in the last decade feeling bad for the Jags every time they had to play in London, win or lose.
Look at that. That's fair. Hey, before we run to break, Case, our Dr. South Beach Gary game, what'd you hear?
I heard Dolphins.
Yeah, I got Dolphins.
You got Bills?
No, I got Dolphins, and I got 1 and 4.
I got Dolphins, Bills, and I got Road.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
So you saying my interpretation was pretty good.
Oh, you're pretty good, yeah.
Because that's all
you
we
gotta
had.
stop playing this game. You win every week.
If you weren't here, we would have been like, yeah, that Dolphins-Bills game on the road was pretty.
1 and 4, Gary. Oh, man.
Crazy.
I like this game. 4 o'clock hour coming up. Calvin Ridley was awesome on Sunday. Oh, is this the Calvin Ridley we're going to see the rest of the way? We'll talk about it on ESPN 690. Valor Bare Knuckle is back in Jacksonville. The legend Ken Shamrock playing host, and the card is highlighted with a heavyweight bout. Valor Bare Knuckle highlights combat sports in its truest form. It's one night, October 27th, and it's at UNF Arena, an intimate setting surrounding the electrifying bout circle. October 27th at UNF Arena. For ticket information, go to valorbk.com. Don't miss it. Raw, electric, exhilarating. Valor Bare Knuckle 2 in Jacksonville. October 27th, valorbk.com.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger. Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's Twin Tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it, have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer, Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers, they take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Breaking news, the Jets will be without their best offensive lineman the rest of the season. Elijah Vera Tucker out with a torn Achilles, the second straight year he's had a season-ending injury. Colts rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson, injured throwing shoulder, out Sunday against Jacksonville. Team not sure yet how much additional time he'll miss. Vikings awaiting final tests on receiver Justin Jefferson's hamstring. Coach Kevin O'Connell says he won't return to the field until he's ready. The Patriots have scored 3 total points in back-to-back blowout losses. Quarterback Mac Jones, pulled in both games, does remain the starter. ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky.
Mac Jones is the least of the worries in New England. The least of the worries. You just said the offensive line, the pass protection is terrible. Okay, second of all, no one gets open downfield. Every ball has to be perfect, and I haven't seen one play made by somebody in man coverage down the field.
Final game of NFL Week 5, Packers-Raiders, Monday Night Football, main broadcast 8 Eastern on ABC and ESPN. Peyton and Eli with the Manning Cast on ESPN2.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Tuesday, the 49ers are the clear #1 in my power rankings, but how will the rest of my top 5 shake out? You might be surprised. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! Ow! It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Welcome back to Brent Friends, ESPN 690. Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts, and Brent Martineau hanging with you, recapping the big win in London. Brent has actually been across the pond that whole time and regaling us, Kasey, with a ton of stories of his fun and frivolity while he was out there. Big-time Jags win, putting him back on the map for everyone to see. Just when you thought the doubters had gotten off the bandwagon, don't look now. That bandwagon's about to get a whole lot more crowded. That's for sure. We are awaiting the arrival of Brent, who's coordinating right now in the control room. I got Kasey Kuhrts with me as well, and I think we're going to dive into a little more on what the offense had going on. You had Calvin Ridley out there making a ton of plays. You want to talk about a big explosion game for Calvin Ridley. Just when you thought game one was going to be it, and the guy kind of went back into hibernation, Calvin showed up in a big way in Tottenham Hotspur, that's for sure. 7 catches, 122 yards, and a couple of big chunk plays as well, Case. When we were watching the game yesterday, we saw a few of those where Trevor had a few options up close, but decided to go a little further downfield on some of those to connect and make some big chunk plays as the offense continued to march down the field. A couple of other guys in the passing attack getting involved. We saw Christian Kirk with 6 catches for 78 yards, mentioning before how reliable Christian has been on this team, not just this year, but last year as well. You didn't really see Jamal Agnew getting involved. Obviously, Evan Ingram got targeted 8 times, 4 catches for 28 yards. Not as big a day as we've seen Ingram have over the last few weeks, but then again, he didn't need to have the kind of day he had been having over the last couple of weeks when we weren't seeing as much Calvin Ridley involved in the tempo and tone of that offense. Zay Jones, before he went out, also making some contributions. 3 catches, 23 yards, and 1 nasty-looking touchdown catch to start the game off. You know, just when you were hoping the Jaguars were going to come out fast and get on the board in that first quarter, man, did they do so in fashion with that bullet to the back of the end zone with Zay Jones. And then finally, Luke Farrell, Brent, early in the game with a catch. Didn't expect to see that on the first drive either.
No, and, you know, Doug and company coming out of August were very high on Luke Farrell. And we're starting to see it. I think he had 2 catches in the Atlanta game.
Yeah.
I believe it was the Atlanta game. And then another one, a big play right out of the gate. So I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to catch it 5 times in a football game. But I think where they pick him to catch the football so far has been very effective, almost in my guy Dan Arnold's kind of way. Remember last year he led the team in yards per catch.
Yeah.
So, like, when they did go it to him.
Sure.
Yeah, well, I think Luke Farrell, I put something out earlier this year. I was like, is it going to be 9.5 the over-under? What's he going to have? Well, he's got 3 in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, 16 yesterday.
So, I mean, 9.5 for catches on the year because Arnold had 9 last year as the backup to Ingram. They have a new weapon.
Oh, I thought you meant 9.5 yards per catch.
No, I'm saying like 9.5 catches.
Gotcha.
And he's got 3 in the last 2 weeks, and he might have had 1 earlier in the season. But, and even like a guy like Brenton Strange, he's not catching the football. They tried to go to him 1 time, and I think that pass was deflected.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke Farrell, nice little wrinkle in there. But let's talk about the wrinkle that's not a wrinkle. It's going to the guy, and that's Calvin Ridley.
The feature, the marquee.
Ridley started the year with that 7-catch performance against the Colts. It was great. This one was better. This was every catch that Calvin Ridley had, I thought was huge in the football game. I thought he was tremendous, Kasey. This is the Calvin Ridley everybody expected.
Yeah, I mean, he made huge plays when you had to have them. Obviously, the 3rd and 4 was big, and then the throw out of the end zone was also a huge play. So there were plays made. I mean, he looked like a true number 1 receiver. He made the plays when they had to have him, although mostly everybody made plays. But that's where Trevor went 2 times with the game on the line, and both times Calvin Ridley made plays.
Remind me what throw this was, because it wasn't completed. It might have been a free play. Trevor rolls out, I believe, to his right, and then throws across his body to his left all the way downfield. I think he had Ridley, and then it either went off Ridley's hands or it wasn't that great a catchable ball. It was just a wild throw. You see so many of these throws where Trev goes across his body while moving one direction, throwing the other, and it's down the field for 40 or 50 yards. Just amazing to watch.
Yeah, I mean, he can make every throw. He had a couple wild ones yesterday. There was one Ingram I thought that maybe they had a little miscommunication on. The one thing that we're not talking about Trevor enough, I don't think he's putting many throws in danger. Now, there was one over the middle yesterday that hand got deflected up in the air. But I thought it was a really nice play by the linebacker, actually, to get his hand on it. I could see what Trevor was seeing, and he almost snuck it by him. But not a lot of balls in danger through 5 weeks for Trevor. He's got 2 interceptions. But I don't think there's been a lot more that could have been intercepted, which is a nice thing. Back to Ridley. You talk about an offense that needs to get going, And a couple weeks ago, I was like, you know what? Get it to the guys you're familiar with, Etienne, Ingram, Kirk. He did that. And they did that and it did some good things against Atlanta. It wasn't great. It was still kind of sputtery. But now, in this game, they did that and got Ridley going. And Ridley was massive in this football game. I mean, he just schooled Hyde all day. I don't know how they got him matched up on him so many different times.
It was wild.
He was in the vicinity all day at the very least.
I thought McDermott was this defensive, brilliant-minded coach.
Well, they took advantage, too, of Trey White being out and obviously being beat up in the secondary a little bit. But this is what Ridley can bring to the – he made everything look easy yesterday. That's what I like about it. I mean, the hands are so good, and that's why dropping the pass like a couple weeks ago was crazy.
Too. Yeah.
But and I think yesterday, if you saw the Dan Orlovsky breakdown, I think he does a nice job of showcasing what Ridley did on that catch on 3rd and 4.
Oh, absolutely.
He gave himself room to get to the outside, and it made a lot of sense when Orlovsky broke it down.
He let the ball take him where he needed to go. But he didn't give up the space. Yeah,
don't forget, in that game, you have two of the best route runners, everybody says, in the National Football League, in Ridley and Stephon Diggs, and that showcased it right there. So it's the little things. And then we wonder how long it's going to take to get Ridley and Trevor on the same page. How much better will this be in the second half of the year? Well, for them to make that little eye contact, that audible, whatever they did there, they were certainly in sync, which was a nice thing to see.
But that's still the backyard football, isn't it? Now, that's still watching something break down in a play, seeing something else develop, a hand goes up, and you're like, yeah, I'll hit him downfield, versus some of these timing plays where Trevor's going to have the ball on Ridley's helmet as Ridley turns out of a break. When they start pulling those off as well, I think it's going to go up another level.
Yeah, we saw the back shoulder yesterday.
Yeah, big-time throw.
Indefendable play, but we haven't seen it a lot. I don't know why we haven't seen it a lot.
They just got to, I guess, get on the same page. But I think
a little more timing, yeah.
When you go back to talking about the matchups and McDermott, I don't think you're wrong. But also, I think an hour and 10 minutes into the show, we've said now that Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones, and Christian Kirk, every play they made was massive. So, you can only do so much.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
And by the way,
was pretty good.
He went off for 180 yards. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I think that just goes back to the overall point of when I said this is what I saw this offense being, it's what I thought. On any given play, someone's going to get taken away, but whoever's getting the football is making your play. Whether it's Calvin Ridley on a big play, it's Zay Jones on the touchdown, it's Christian Kirk, as you mentioned, Aaron, on 3rd and 4 for 6 yards, and he's getting the first down. Evan Ingram is just absolutely barreling people, fighting for every yard. Everybody in this offense is making a play, and if they're doing that consistently, like they did this week, that's when their offense becomes special.
Is this Ridley's breakout game, or are we still going to see up and down, you guys?
I think that was it. Yeah, I think that was it. I think that I do believe, and I don't know, I saw the transcript because I was in the locker room while he was talking to the media, and so I don't know if he was being a little facetious about it, but the way it read was, I thought I was there, but games like this will get me there. And I don't know if he was being a little this is me who I always am, because, again, I didn't see the actual body language of it. But regardless of what he says, he had a little bit of rust to shake off, or he just had a bad couple of weeks. I don't know which one it is, and that happens in sports. I think this gets his confidence back to go, and I think this gets confidence back in the offense, his confidence back in all the coaches, confidence back in Trevor. Not that they ever really lost it, but again, when I say things like this, I'm talking about rhythm and confidence and trust to the nth degree to perform at this level the way you want to perform. Not saying it doesn't exist, but you need it to be here.
Yeah.
At a different level for it to click. And I think a game like that gets him there, and we know he's good. It's like we keep saying about the Jags offense. We know it's good. Casey's not wrong. Kasey, that's a great point. This team is hard to defend if everybody's doing what they do. And the only people that really still aren't doing what they do or should do or could do is probably the offensive line in terms of consistency. Mm-hmm. But yesterday was a really good day for the receivers. They had the one drop outside of that. They made good catches. They ran good routes. They got separation. They did what they had to do. Etienne, tough runs, kept with it. Boom, pops them. Had some big runs in that football game, not only the 2 touchdowns. So I think everybody's starting to do what they are supposed to do. And now we saw an offense almost amass 500 yards against a very good defense. I know they're beat up a little bit, and they got beat up in that football game, but they're still a very good defense.
We haven't even talked about our defense yet. Another star of the game.
Well, that's the other side of this thing now. Can we say it?
That they have a good defense?
The defense is good.
I think they've earned it.
You know how to go there?
2/3 of their defense is really good.
People don't want to go there because of the pass rush.
Trayvon Walker get back there 4 times. 4 pressures yesterday. Josh Allen, 4 pressures. They had
Josh
some heat
Allen,
coming.
great. Josh, very good. Going to earn a lot of money. Probably not going to be here. Going to earn a lot of money.
It could be here.
It could be, but we can go back to that question that you posed earlier. Now I got to cut both receivers.
Okay.
They ain't got no money. So, yeah, I thought Josh played well. But their back end is great. Their linebackers are really good. That's what I got for you.
I will continue to say this. The Jags have good players on all 3 levels. They have stars on all 3 levels. Josh Allen, to me, is a star.
Yes.
Aluakin's a star.
Yes.
Tyson Campbell, Cisco.
Yes.
Somewhere in there.
They're stars.
Stars.
Yes.
Tyson, rough yesterday.
Well, he's playing against one of the best receivers in football, too.
I know. I'm just saying.
He gave up 1 play. Did you see him in the tackling game? His tackle game was terrific.
But he went for 6.
It doesn't matter. Jalen Ramsey gave up stuff to DeAndre Hopkins. Good play. I have no problem giving up good stuff to good players. They're going to get theirs. The bottom line is they didn't attack that side much because they know how good he is.
Sure.
And don't miss the tackling game on Tyson Campbell. He was brilliant in the tackling game yesterday. Very, very good.
Tyson Campbell versus Gabe Davis. 2 targets, 1 catch for 19 yards. Tyson Campbell versus Stephon Diggs. 3 targets, 2 catches for 29 yards.
And the touchdown.
And the touchdown.
And he beat him off the line. He got him.
Latavius Murray, unfortunately for me, 1 catch, 1 yard.
Yeah, on a good tackle. That was a good tackle. But
that's a good day for Tyson Campbell.
So here's the deal. The defense has some star power at all 3 levels. They have some good depth around, too. When they bring Wingard in, they brought Antonio Johnson in way more than I thought they were going to bring him in that football game. So we'll see if he gets acclimated to it. They can go 3 deep at the linebacker spot. Obviously, Muma's doing an okay job taking over for Devin Lloyd, and Lloyd should be back soon, I would think. They've got some depth. They're going to get Hamilton and Smoot onto it as well. I mean, I get, guys, that they don't have the pass rush that everybody wants. I understand it. But give Mike Caldwell a ton of credit because whatever they're doing, even without the pass rush that's just in the backfield every play, is damn good. And the secondary, to me, just Ty said it to me. He said, time to start talking about that secondary. I said, where the hell you been the last 2 weeks? We've been talking about the secondary, Ty. Got to listen to the show a little bit more. We've been talking about the secondary.
Absolutely.
We just compared them to 2017. Like, it's not that far off how good this secondary is playing for the Jags. Now, listen, Darius Williams had a couple tough games. Houston was a tough game for him. Yesterday wasn't great, but he still came up with the big play. And I think their safeties are playing so well. So well. Like, sometimes you notice them on big plays, but when you don't notice safeties that much, I also feel like that's a sign that they're playing pretty well because you're not exposing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, should they have been over the top on Diggs' long reception? Maybe. Like, I never know those assignments. But I thought Rayshon was great in the tackle game. Cisco was good in the tackle game. Rayshon made a good deflection down the field on the tight end. Might have been interference, but he still got away with the deflection. Guys, the defense is good, and Mike Caldwell is starting to build a little bit of love around here now. But this was a guy 11 months ago that we weren't sure he was going to make it. 2/3 of the way through his first year as a coordinator. I think he's pretty damn good.
Yeah, Jags have a good one here. And it's a good defense. And it's a defense that if you can stomach not seeing stats like sacks in the stat line, you may come to love because they're good at what they do. They're good at stuff in the run. They're good at coverage. They're good at tackling.
Good at tackling. They're a very good tackling team. I feel like, at least, they're a very good tackling team. Here's the thing. They had played a rookie quarterback in Anthony Richardson. They had played the Chiefs very well. But that was a Chiefs team that had sputtered out of the gate, so people were like, well, and Kelsey's first game back and that kind of thing. So it was a little, but they play Houston, rookie quarterback. Don't look good. Worst performance. They play Atlanta, who Ritter is not very good. So you're like, okay, where is the defense? Well, yesterday, it's time to say, if you do what you did to Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City and do what you did essentially to the Buffalo Bills, it's time to say you're pretty good defense. You're not the San Francisco 49ers defense. That's a lights-out defense. But this defense is, again, top 12 in the National Football League, in my opinion, right now. And they are pretty good at getting the football when they need to get the football, which separates them in a lot of respects. Some people can be a sound defense but not get the football. This one is a little bit of bend but get the football. And I think most coaches would rather take that.
Sure, absolutely. Takeaway is really important. And the reality is this defense keeps the sluggish offense in games while they get geared up. We've seen it multiple weeks now. So whether you think the defense wins you the game or not doesn't matter if the fact is they keep the offense in it long enough for the offense to win the game. The W is the thing. The road you took to get there doesn't matter as much.
I do think, Kasey, this is a defense that maybe at times will give up. Like, they'll have a bad game or two. Like, I just don't think they're going to be perfect all the time.
I'd agree.
But I couldn't get over when you looked up at the offense helped them out a lot like yesterday. They had the ball for 38 minutes.
Forever.
But you looked up at the clock. It took them 26 minutes to get across midfield. And the Jags should have been up at least 15-0 at that time, it felt like, or 18-0 or whatever it could have been. So they gave them plenty of time to actually run away with it early on. And some of the crap down the end, I mean, again, inexcusable to go down the field the way they did on the one. But they'll prevent, like, bites them, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, go back to the Josh Allen. The Josh Allen, did you guys think it was a penalty?
No.
The roughing the passer.
Yeah, the roughing the passer.
No, I thought that was a bad call.
I mean, I don't think that it should be called, but face mask to face mask, what are you going to do? If that's
was the
rule.
one where Allen lowered his head, essentially, right? Like, what do you suppose if you can't get lower than the guy, you're going to get a penalty?
I think what Kasey's saying is right, and I think what we always say, this is what we said when targeting. This is why I usually have this big beef with the college targeting rule, which they've laid back off a little bit this year, if you haven't noticed, in terms of, or really the last 2 years, about ejecting people, I think. Because, guy, what are you supposed to do when you're already there and somebody lowers the target? And brings their head into the equation. I think it makes it very tough. I also thought it was a pretty tough call. It was a violent one against Calvin Ridley. But, like, those are hard plays. The game is not played in slow motion, folks.
You're talking about Ridley was basically folded in half.
He was.
Yeah.
And he got hit really hard. And so I could see what the officials saw. The thing about the Josh Allen one, I couldn't tell if they were trying to keep Buffalo in it and make it exciting in London, or if they both saw the same thing right at the right time. But those flags came out fast and furious by both officials.
I mean, it was face mask to face mask. Again, it's not violent enough for me to be a penalty, but if that's the rules, if that's what we're playing under, then you have to call it because they hit heads.
I kind of get it.
I don't know that violence has to be the litmus test for me, but kind of like the way they're doing with body weight on the quarterback now, you see him kind of making more judgment calls on that, where a guy will land on a quarterback, but you can see he's obviously trying to limit the amount of body weight on him, or he'll hop right off immediately and see there's not a lot of impact on the quarterback. They won't call that flag as much in those scenarios. I think they need to do the same with the head-to-head or face mask to face mask. I don't understand what Josh is supposed to do in that scenario if his target goes down.
Yeah.
He's got it. Well,
he's getting the flag.
I guess he's got to go in lower. I mean, that would be what he'd say. The problem with that one is, here's what I love. I talked to Josh a little bit in the locker room after he's done with his media, and I was like, so what do you think? You think it was a penalty? He's like, of course not. He's like, but he wasn't even mad about the call as much as that the game was over. He's like, the game was over right there. Like, I made the play to ice the game. Because they were back all the way to the 30-yard line.
Yeah.
And, I mean, who knows? Maybe they do score. But I get what he was saying. And that would have been back-to-back weeks. Because then he forced the fumble against Atlanta.
Strip sack,
right?
yeah.
To punctuate the game. That's what we've been asking Josh Allen to do. Is to, okay, now finish it. Can you have the finishing play? Well, they actually did it late, but that was because of a trick play. But I think that's what Josh was pissed about a little bit. Is like, I did this in back-to-back weeks. I pretty much iced the game with us on the field and made the play. And Josh wasn't everywhere yesterday like he had been the previous week, but he also had another rush that bulldozed the Deion Dawkins, who's a very good player, by the way, and he hurt Dawkins on another play. Like, he is still making an impact, but I think that's what Josh was most upset about, is like the timing of when he made that critical rush and just owned him was in the spot that you needed it, and he, of course, didn't get credit for it. It went the other way.
Crixus in the chat, Kasey, mentions that he saw Josh Allen pointing at his head even before he hit the ground.
That's true.
He's done this to other teams, too. Do you think this is the equivalent of flopping a little bit, drawing the foul maybe, like they do in basketball?
I mean, if you're going to throw your head in front of another man running full speed, bro, more power to you. But
I mean, this is the guy who was like, I can't run as much this year. I got to save my career.
He definitely did do that. He was in midair pointing.
He was.
Yeah. It was kind of wild that it happened so fast.
I don't know if I think I agree with you, Kasey, and I haven't seen 50 replays of it. I think it's a hard call against the defender, but I do think by rule it was probably the right call. Unfortunately, it seems so not violent. So ticky-tack for a game that is violent.
I just kind of assume if two helmets hit each other, someone's getting flagged. Point blank. And that's what happened, unfortunately.
One other note about asking if Trevor gets these calls in a moment, but I don't know if your PFF website would do this. Can you write to them?
Let's take a look. All right.
Because the Jags might lead the league with Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen drawing holding calls. And I understand everybody wants sacks and all that other stuff. But they are making people hold, and refs call it, and these plays are adding up in the first 5 weeks. I understand this is Brent just defending the pass rush a little bit, but it's not happened just once. Trayvon Walker benched Jawan Taylor because he did it on back-to-back plays.
By the way, leads the league in penalties.
Who does?
Jawan Taylor.
Does he?
Yeah.
Most of them are lineup penalties, not hold penalties. But they don't really have like a stat for that, but I'm telling you, I think Josh and Trayvon are doing a great job of that. They don't get credit for that. But I forget which one it was. Somebody drew, I think it was Josh. He drew the holding call and it ended up being like a negated the play, and it was 3rd and 15. They changed the whole series.
On Dawkins,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
Changed the whole series. I know it doesn't go down as a sack. It's a 10-yard loss, which actually got them off the field.
Oh, I saw you clap back at somebody with that.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
And I'm not expecting the fans, by the way, or us to keep track of those, but I do think you should acknowledge the fact that in the first 5 weeks of the season, we have seen that quite a bit from those guys, specifically those two guys.
Here's one thing I will say about the pass rush yesterday, and nobody's happy with the broadcast anyway, so this isn't going to help it. I swear they did not say Trayvon Walker's name until he recovered the fumble on the last play of the game.
Interesting.
And he had the only quarterback hit, I think, on Josh in the first 35 minutes of the game. But
I'm telling you, this man's name was absent. Also, fun fact, if you were watching the broadcast and not super locked in and know what you're looking for, you had no idea Antonio Johnson played in the game, by the way, as well.
Yeah, and that's probably going to take a little bit of time. How much does Trevor not get the call that Josh Allen gets? Do you see that on TV? I'm at a different vantage point. I feel like I see that from the folks on social media during the game a lot. I feel like one time, was it Kansas City? I think it was the Kansas City one where they should have called it, and they didn't. He got sandwiched. Remember, he got crushed.
Correct.
And it was like a high-low one, and he could have got it, and he didn't. Is that happening more, and he's not getting the calls? Is Trevor not getting the calls that guys like MVP candidates Josh Allen's getting? Not yet?
That's probably a thing.
I mean, he gets hit a lot, bro. He just keeps taking hard hits. At some point, you think something's got to be roughing.
Well, but again, he's 6'6" now. He's a big frame, so getting up to his head and hitting him in the head might be a little different. I don't see him tucking very often. I don't know. I'm really just asking that. I don't have a strong opinion on it. I do feel like he's getting walloped, but I also remember just one or maybe two that I was like, where's the flag?
I would say more so the just driving him to the ground penalty. That one, not necessarily the helmet to helmet, because you're right, he is big. But I would say it's more of he's gotten rid of it, and you're telling me he got why this can't keep happening. That's the beef I've had multiple times. I'm like, dude, he threw him down.
Yeah, I do think, and see, this was a little bit of, if the broadcast wasn't talking about the Jags, or if Good Morning Football wasn't talking about the Jags, you should be coming out of this game talking about Trevor Lawrence quite a bit. If you're a national broadcast that covers the NFL and stars in the game, like Joe Burrow talks about that goofy shirt that he wore, although it was for a good cause.
Dang, it's cold, you know what I mean?
And Josh Allen and Brock Purdy. If you're going to talk about all these players, yesterday was the day to talk about Trevor Lawrence.
For real.
And Trevor Lawrence is one of the stars of this league as well, and he's going to be for a long time. So it might be time to start protecting him if some of these other quarterbacks are going to get these kind of calls.
Yeah.
And again, I'm saying this without really identifying they've missed 6 calls already this year. I just don't feel like he's getting it like some of the stars do, the Mahomeses of the world. He's got to earn that. But yesterday was a game. That's why you talk about what he did yesterday, if you're the national guys, because he did earn it yesterday. And he has earned it in games like the Chargers and other ones throughout the last year or so. He's that dude. And if you're going to protect the dudes around the league, You got to start protecting 16 a little bit.
For real. I got cards to sell, bro. I need some of that national pub. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
All right, let's take a break. Brent Friends on ESPN 690 on a Monday, Victory Monday. You can always jump in on the text line, 904-362-9901. Also, interact on Twitter and YouTube. Subscribe to Action Sports Jacks, Facebook as well, and Twitch if you do that. And you can always call 904-362-9901. We'll have Jags Report live tonight at Sneakers in Jacks Beach. You can watch it on Fox 30. It's an hour show. Aaron Beasley, former Jags, will join us. We're not getting a player on because of London, obviously, coming back. We're going to get them their rest before the Indy game on Sunday. But we will be there. Hope to see you at Sneakers in Jacks Beach, 7 o'clock tonight for Jags Report Live.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Today is going to be a nice day with mostly sunny skies and pleasant afternoon highs in the upper 70s and low 80s. But it does get chilly again tonight with temperatures sliding back down to the 40s and low 50s. And then Tuesday's a bit warmer, but still really nice with mostly sunny skies and highs in the 80s. From the Action News Jacks First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss Beard's incredible buy one, get one on wedding bands now through October 31st.
Government Mule performing the hits, plus a very special Dark Side of the Mule set featuring Pink Floyd classics. The Mule, an audio and visual spectacle. Government Mule. Saturday, October 14th at St. Augustine Amphitheater. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Government Mule.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Tune into our high-energy, multi-platform show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690 and a variety of video streaming platforms as well. As the seasons change, so do the sports topics. It's football season now, and we're bringing you all things sports weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. And you can tailgate with us at the Duval House for every Sunday home game this football season. Fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks.
This is Ortho Health Insights, tips for life in motion, brought to you by the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. You are never too old or too young to begin improving your orthopedic health. Elbow pain is one of the most common complaints from active individuals. Many experience elbow pain while at home or at work, or during their favorite activities like golf, tennis, and pickleball. Most elbow pain has a very simple cause and clears up within a few days. You can normally treat this pain yourself with over-the-counter remedies and a few days rest. Simple exercises can help reduce the risk of future problems. The JOI Orthopedic Elbow Specialists are experienced in diagnosing the cause and treating your pain. Whether you need a course of physical therapy or surgery, JOI can help. Call 904-JOI-2000. That's 904-JOI-2000. Or go to JOI.net. JOI is the official sports medicine provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, poker fans, you're in for a treat this October at Best Bet. With over $690,000 in poker promotions paid out this month, this is no time to be on the sidelines. Highlights include the $400 GoPo 400 with $40,000 guarantee at Best Bet Orange Park, the $100,000 guarantee St. Augustine Championship, and the return of the World Poker Tour $1 million guarantee at Best Bet Jacksonville. For all the details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Let me help you get a little something for free with the air conditioning team I use. It's Bold City Heating and Air. Tell them Brent sent you and you get a free duct cleaning with the purchase of a new unit. BoldCityAC.com. Here's why I've partnered up with Bold City Heating and Air. It's a Jacksonville-grown and family-owned and operated business. Most AC places locally have been sold to corporations, not Bold City Heating and Air. And they take care of you the old-fashioned way. Awesome communication, awesome customer service, and they have an awesome new look. BoldCityAC.com for a tune-up on that overworked AC unit. BoldCityAC.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at AMCOJacksonville.com.
I was crossing the street when I met the love of my life. I chased after her. Nothing would stand in my way. Not the dog walker, nor the hot dog vendor. Finally reaching her, I asked, "What do you call that amazing smell?"
It's Gain Flings.
Gain Flings. My love had a name, but more importantly, it had a scent.
Fall in love with Gain Flings. Seriously good scent. Gain Flings with 50% more freshness ingredients versus leading bargain detergent.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. I just got this text about the 2021 draft class, which we often go back to, right? And says, as crazy as the Urban Meyer draft, or as it is, the Urban Meyer draft might go down as one of the best of all time in Jaguars history. I mean, it really is. Maybe we should bring Urban on as a consultant for drafts.
Huh. Urban's got a new meme. He's becoming popular all over again. Casey, saw that?
What was that one?
It's a annoyed Urban Meyer meme. It's going to be making the rounds on a phone near you over the next couple of days.
Okay.
Keep an eye out for
You're
it.
ahead of it.
Yeah, I saw it this morning. It was great. It was from this weekend.
You're predicting it. You're like the guy that predicts. Oh,
I saw
you're
it
good
all
at this
over
with
the place.
songs, right? You know which song's going to
I'm
become
ahead
a
of
hit.
the trend. I'm ahead of the trend and know what's happening.
Trevor, Travis Etienne, Tyson Campbell, Walker Little, Andre Sisco, Jay Tufele, who is gone, Jordan Smith. Hasn't played at all, right?
He's gone, Brent.
Well, they cut him.
Yeah, he's gone.
Never played.
No. I think like a couple snaps.
They just played preseason because he was hurt for like 2 years.
I thought he played at least a snap.
Did
rookie year. I could be wrong, but he's gone.
And Luke Farrell, by the way.
Great.
Who's actually, they
playing.
are really high on Luke Farrell.
They're using him.
And they use him not just in the pass game, but they use him in the run.
Great draft.
Blocking. Really was a great draft. And let's talk about one of those guys that got drafted, because my favorite topic here on the show is, how underrated is Travis Etienne? Maybe it's a good day to talk about that.
Let's do it.
Kid does everything. I just think he's extremely underrated. I have said it. Again, this from a National Football League perspective, not here in Jacksonville. I think people value him. And knock on wood, he's holding on to the football, right? And I don't know if there's we just said this about Trevor. You don't add up Trevor's traits and appearance and say toughness, right? But he's tough. And that's what's showing up these last couple of weeks. It showed up last year at times too. Mentally tough after Urban Meyer. Travis Etienne, I feel a lot the same way. It's a sexy offense at Clemson when those guys are playing. It's 35 yards a pop. It's 4,800 yards. It's 5 million touchdowns. Everything's like
touchdowns.
Explosive all over the place. So that doesn't exude toughness. And I'm not even convinced that this football team, this staff, this front office, this organization knows or knew how tough Travis Etienne is, or believed it, because they went out and got a third-round back in Tank Bigsby and tried to get tougher in the backfield.
Yeah, two thoughts here. Number one, you're kind of misled by his size. You see Travis Etienne, he looks smaller than everyone else, and you're like, oh, this guy's probably going to get hurt. But he runs so dang fast, he runs kind of into and through people. Like when he gets hit, I don't feel like he's taking the brunt. I feel like the defender is taking the brunt.
Well, he does take the brunt sometimes. I mean, we do say on occasion he gets hit like more squares than anybody else in the National Football League sometimes. But I get what you're saying. Like, he's falling forward.
Yeah.
And then what's different this year is he's become way more slippery, in my opinion. And that's what happened yesterday in that game. There were a couple of moments where it's like, how did he just get 5 yards out of that? Or then stay on his feet and get 6-7?
And then I'm curious if you think Etienne's success this season is keeping Bigsby off the field, or is Bigsby keeping Bigsby off the field?
It's a great question. I think it's a trust thing.
You think it's Bigsby so far?
Yeah.
It's rookie.
I think, listen, I believe I think they only used Agnew once yesterday. Now, he was in for more snaps, but they only used Agnew once because they're a little like, okay, let's get a game under our belt so it's not like, let's make sure nothing's up here, right? Bigsby, I still think, preseason fumble at the goal line, the stuff against Indianapolis, they might even be seeing other things in practice that we don't see. I don't know. And Etienne's just too good to leave off the field. This has a little bit of Ingram playing a lot of tight end and other guys not because he's too good.
Yeah.
I don't want Etienne on the sideline.
No.
Do
he's
you?
Dynamic playmaker. Every time the ball's in his hands, it could go for a touchdown.
He's really good. And what do you have, 180 yards of offense?
Yeah, something like that. It was close to it, if not a little over.
Like he's on pace. He's at like 105 yards a game or something.
It was
now.
136 on the ground.
It was
40,
like 48
in the area.
So do the math there, but it's 184, I think it is.
Yes.
So, and he touched the ball a lot. I think he had
26 attempts, 4 catches, 5 targets.
30 times. I love that.
I love it too. Especially if you want to control the clock against a powerful offense on the other side of the field. Love it. And you wonder before the game, is Etienne the kind of guy you can do that with? You know, traditionally, the backs that help you with the possession of time, ball possession, are big, brooding backs that beat up the defense. But here's little Travis Etienne. At the end of the game, the defense is still smoked. They're still on one knee, gassed.
Guys, touched it 30 times. You know, started this year, and we wondered if Doug or whoever put Press Taylor in a tough spot by saying he's calling plays. Well, if he's calling all the plays, which I think Doug's still heavily involved, but if he's calling all the plays, Press Taylor, nice job.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Get it to him. Get it to him. In your big games, in games that you have to win games like that against good teams, get it to him. They got it to him 30 times. I've sat here many a Monday and said, why are they not giving him the football more? And what I thought they did, I think I tweeted this halfway through the game, maybe early third quarter. I was like, hey, they're sticking with the run. The run's not unbelievable right now, but they're sticking with it. And they're keeping them honest. And what that did is open the floodgates. That old analogy or cliche, whatever it is, they kept going. And by the fourth quarter, they broke the dam because the Bills broke their back.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't defend it anymore. There was a time where it went for like 6, 6, 8, 11, 6. And then sooner or later, it was 35 to the end zone for Travis Etienne. So hats off to Press and Doug and the offensive staff for staying with the run game. And I just think Etienne is special. And you know what we really haven't seen yet? We saw a 30-yard run, 35-yard run. He put it away with the Indianapolis run, so maybe we have seen it. But I'm thinking we haven't seen like the 65-yard run, the 73-yard home run play.
That's what you expect to see from Etienne, not what you saw in that drive in the fourth you were just talking about. And it really was Etienne to the left for 6, Etienne to the left for nothing, Trevor Lawrence downfield for 32 to Calvin, Etienne up the middle for a couple, Etienne to the left for 35 yards, touchdown.
That's a great question. Ask Kasey. What does he have for an answer? Is Bigsby keeping himself off the field, or is Etienne keeping Bigsby off the field?
Both.
A little bit of column A, column B.
Yeah, I mean, Travis Etienne, I don't think you can take him off the field.
Hard to take him out at this point.
And then Tank Bigsby, what have you done for me lately?
Well, it's hard to do anything if I only get it 3 times, Coach.
Well, you better start pouring the water real good then, my guy, because, that's where you're going to be, on the bench. Yeah, you can't take Etienne out.
So this is where it gets interesting now with Bigsby, because you have this London trip. You give it to Etienne 30 times. I don't have in front of me how many times he got it last week, but I I think they stayed with the run last week a lot, too, even though it wasn't super effective. And they ended up saying that things worked off the run. But I forget how many touches he had.
I'll pull it up.
Bottom line is 30 touches, come back to play Indianapolis, and then in the 12th day of a stretch of 3 different time zones, play a third game against New Orleans. You can't give him 30, 30, and 30. You can't give him 90 touches in the next 12 days.
He had 20 touches and 3 catches.
20? Yeah. So 23 overall?
23 touches overall.
So he's got 53 touches in the last 2 weeks in London. Now I think Bigsby becomes a factor here because it's a long season.
Sure.
And it's a long stretch right here. So I think they'll be careful. That's something that could be a storyline here to watch over these next 3 games getting to the bye week, that you had to lean on Etienne a little bit more here. And he looked like fine coming out of the gates, coming out of the game when I saw him. So that's good. Like he's in full health. But just keep an eye on that because I think they have to balance this a little bit more. And whether that's with Hasty, Dearness Johnson, we'll see. But getting some other guys some touches, they might have to do that to keep a fresh Etienne.
Do you think they'll ever be comfortable with him being a 3-down back?
Yeah,
because they'll have him
so.
out there for the 3 downs, but I just don't get the feeling they're comfortable with that.
Well, I think it's a little bit of what I say. I think this is what Doug does really well. I think he has a good full picture of the season. He doesn't get wrapped up in just like the moment, the week. I think they do this in a small capsule in a game. Like they play the big picture in the game. They know what's coming up in the 3rd and the 4th and what needs to set up a play or share the load or some of those things. And I think the same goes for the season. Like what I just said, I bet Doug is thinking. Not because he's listening. No, it'd be great if he's listening. But I think he's already thinking it. I just think I fell upon it. That you've got to be a little careful here over the next few weeks. Got it 53 times, 2 physical football games against 2 pretty good fronts.
Yep.
And now you're going, again, these games, Indianapolis, good front. Saints, pretty physical team. And then the Steelers, usually physical. Probably not as physical as they've been, but usually physical. So
certainly on defense.
I think it's a little bit of an interesting stretch to get other players involved. So we're going to find out. To answer your question, we're going to find out if they trust Bigsby or not. Because if they don't go to Bigsby, that means they got to bring Dearness Johnson into the game or Hasty into the game. They got to get some other touches. Yeah. And that will certainly tell us where they stand. But I think we'll see a little less of Etienne from a workload standpoint. Doesn't mean he's not in the game, but a workload standpoint, I wouldn't be surprised. His catches yesterday were huge. The plays in the middle of the field that Trevor got him the football, and then he danced around for even more. Big stuff. One of them was a key third down and 5.
But this is essentially the Jags running play in 2023.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's the Kamara-esque comparison that Etienne drew because he can do that. Yeah. I actually don't think they get it to him enough in the game. But when you get 30 touches, how many more can I tell you to get him?
Yeah.
Right? 4 for 48.
Especially when you got guys named Ridley and Kirk and Zay Jones out there. Everett Ingram waiting for the ball. It's like at some point you got to spread it.
But he's got an Eckler and Kamara kind of game. Like he could catch it 8, 9, 10 times a game, I think.
Well, Eckler, I think the knock on him is it goes too far in the other direction.
Yeah,
is
too
that
many
he does
passes.
Way more in the passing game than he does in the rushing game. But to the Kamara comp, you could be right about it. A lot of people could be.
I love Travis Etienne, man.
It's fun to watch.
So the story, I don't know if you caught this yesterday, I said to him in our postgame, but Wednesday up there at Hanbury Manor, I tried to get him in the locker room. And he had like sinus stuff going on. He's like, you mind if I got sinus stuff? And I didn't know if he was joking with me or just didn't want to talk. I was like, fine, but after you run for $120 on Sunday, I'm talking to you. And so when he came over, he's like, hi, $120. I ran for $134.
I owe you an interview.
Yeah, that's right.
Coming to collect.
It's a fun little moment between us there at, where the hell were we? Tottenham. That's right. Nice stadium, boys. Very nice stadium. Brent Friends on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
From selling out of the back of a car to one of the biggest outfitters in the Southeast, Baker Sports is quite the story. And on a daily basis, they are helping you write your story with a high school name or sports team across a uniform and so much more. And now it's a one-stop shop with Baker Sports, carrying Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. They already make you look good, and now they can help you look better than ever. Baker Sports, custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team. And it's easy to do at bakersport.com.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine. I'm Ellie Anajar. Together, we're Anajar and Levine. If you've been hurt in a car crash, we'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve.
Call Anajar and Levine for your free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Let me help you get a little something for free with the air conditioning team I use. It's Bold City Heating and Air. Tell them Brent sent you and you get a free duct cleaning with the purchase of a new unit. BoldCityAC.com. Here's why I've partnered up with Bold City Heating and Air. It's a Jacksonville-grown and family-owned and operated business. Most AC places locally have been sold to corporations, not Bold City Heating and Air. And they take care of you the old-fashioned way. Awesome communication, awesome customer service, and they have an awesome new look. BoldCityAC.com for a tune-up on that overworked AC unit. BoldCityAC.com.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers. They take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we have repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's Twin Take non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it, have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Rich Jones here. If you're an investor who's interested in doing well while doing good, getting solid returns on your investments while making a positive impact, consider investment funds with DLP Capital. Here's Don Winter, CEO of DLP Real Estate Capital, to tell you more.
With the current housing shortage in the U.S., investing in real estate, especially workforce housing, is one of the safest and most reliable places to invest. We invest in affordable housing for hardworking people and generate amazing returns for each of our investors.
To get your investor's guide and find out more, dial **invest from your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. Oh, thank you. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of hospitalization from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Must be present in a state where lawful to wager, must be 21 plus and present in select states. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit KSGamblingHelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelpma.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
Stay with ESPN 690 for your chance to see and hear our special events in the Farah and Farah Performance Studio throughout 2023. Powered by Farah and Farah and ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Aaron, we missed you. I missed you.
Who's we? Kasey had his fill.
It's like I've been here.
Kasey was nauseated by me for multiple days.
It was we, yeah.
We were talking about you the other day. When were we talking about? In the 5 o'clock hour?
Oh, when I left.
Yeah.
I evaded you like Travis Etienne on a run play.
When were we talking about Aaron?
Friday, I left early, bro. Get with it.
No, I know.
Stop talking about me.
Don't remember the conversation.
I will say it felt like we were gone forever.
Yeah, you were gone a long time.
Not long
Does seem like it.
Second time this year. You were gone a long time.
What was the
like
other
Dad
one?
wasn't
Detroit?
coming home.
The Detroit week?
I don't know. We'd have to check the calendar.
Detroit, you were gone a while. You were gone a while.
Oh,
when
I was gone a while, yeah.
Where did you go that all the beef started?
No, it was a zoo injury or something, a rhino injury.
A rhino.
Oh, that.
He was on the pup list.
I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about what started that whole thing, which was when you went to the golf place.
Oh, Stream Song.
Oh, we were in Stream Song.
Yeah.
You were gone a while when that happened, too.
Yeah, that was a little part of like vacation.
Which caused the rhino injury.
They have rhinos in Stream Song?
That is not true.
Crazy.
That's White Oak.
Look, we can joke all we want, but I saw a TikTok with a baby rhino playing with a broom, and it might be the cutest video I've ever seen in my entire life.
How'd the baby rhino get the broom?
For the zookeeper. Gave him the broom.
All right.
He was nosing it around with the stupid horn on his face. It was crazy.
The stuff that's been popping up on my X feed.
Oh.
Like, I'm like, how do I get this stuff?
A bunch of X videos?
Some of it's hilarious.
No?
What videos?
X videos from the platform?
Remember people hear what they want to hear? Remember that? Yes, remember that? All right.
I sent you guys some.
Yeah.
Not of what you're saying, but
that's what they call them.
I don't understand. You know, like the algorithms and everything.
I mean, not
or at least
personally.
pretend to.
We're not on a first name basis, but I understand how they work. Sure.
I don't get it. Like, I don't get why I'm getting some of the stuff on Twitter that I'm getting.
So platforms like Twitter are interesting because in their algo, it's not just about your engagement, what you're touching, clicking, sending, replying to, but if you pause your feed to read something.
Really?
They will take that metric as your scrolling stopped for this much time. And so sometimes you'll put your phone down on the counter for a couple of seconds with the screen on and like grab something from the fridge.
Yeah.
And then you'll come back to it and continue scrolling, and Twitter's like, oh, you like that content.
That's what's going on.
It'll happen on Instagram to you, too. Facebook does it as well.
I bet that is what's going on then.
But
Because
they'll
there's
do
just
all
some
kinds of
weird,
stuff like that.
just some stuff like, why am I getting this?
Yeah.
And I don't.
Same.
I will say Twitter's algo, and TikTok's for that matter, very sensitive to like things I engage with. Facebook, if you're trying to train your algorithm a little bit, or YouTube too, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you can go to a couple of those pieces of content and you'll start to see them get sprinkled in maybe on your homepage of YouTube or something like that. But with TikTok, you watch a video for a couple of seconds. God forbid you hit the like button. Or if you retweet something, it's over. Your whole feed is this thing. The other day, I saw an interesting political tweet.
Oh, boy.
And I touched it, and now I can't get football back in my feed. It's gone forever.
I touched it.
All I did was tap it.
I looked at it. Don't
because
look at it.
The dude was like a subscriber, so he had one of those long book-like tweets. So I had to read this thing.
I think you showed me.
And Twitter was like, forget it, bro. This is all you're getting now for 2 more weeks. It's like, no thanks.
I did get some funny stuff on Twitter that I'm sharing with you guys. There are some funny things out there.
People are very funny. Very funny. Love some of the memes.
Yeah, some of the stuff's good.
Great Sean Payton memes last night. I was enjoying that with the rest of Jets Nation.
We'll talk a little bit about the rest of the NFL, including maybe is there anything new on Travis Kelce yet? And how bad could that be?
Yo, he had another pick. Did you see Hutch's pick?
Travis Kelce doesn't pick the football.
Yeah, he did.
You saw Hutch's play? I'm just now seeing it for the first time.
It wasn't even like
he wasn't even wearing gloves.
He accidentally intercepted the ball.
He one-handed and he wasn't wearing gloves.
Yeah.
Son of a.
Whoa.
Case
You
almost had
almost
to dump
drop
himself.
button yourself.
Yeah. Way to go, bro.
Football at 5 on ESPN 690 is next. No Hutchinson talk, please.
Come on, honey. It's so hot that...
It's too hot for your cheesy riddles.
Come on, please. It's so hot that...
Fine. How hot is it?
It's so hot, chickens are laying hard-boiled eggs. It's so hot, we're boiling pasta in the pool. It's so hot that...
Yeah, I get it. It's hot.
It's not just hot. It's Hammond hot.
And only Hammond can handle Hammond Hot. Any AC company can handle kind of hot, sort of hot, maybe even pretty hot. But when your system is running 24 hours a day, you can't get to the temperature you want, and you strategically open and close vents to redirect air, that's when you have to call Hammond. After all, Hammond has been North Florida's most trusted AC authority for your neighbors since 1957. With techs who not only know how to get your system running again, but also how to keep it running at peak efficiency and performance. Remember, only Hammond can handle Hammond Hot. HammondAir.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Play a little pool, watch some football, eat wings, and, of course, plenty of adult beverages. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day. Now open for lunch at 11:30 on Friday and Saturdays. Daily specials like 75-cent Wing Wednesday, $3 Draft Thursday, and $3 Seltzer Saturday. Pool, darts, shuffleboard in a fun, clean atmosphere at Perfect Rack Billiards. It's your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20 and a free shot with every Jags touchdown. It's up to the Jags to score. It's up to you to have fun at Perfect Rack Billiards in Jacksonville.
Frank, you got to come see my new windows from American Window Products. They're beautiful and they keep the house so cool.
Oh, slow down, Jim.
No, Frank. American Window Products is having a sale right now, and you said you wanted a locally owned business with qualified products and professional installers. Well, American Window Products has all that and more.
More?
Yes, selection and great prices at American Window Products.
Oh, what's that number?
731-2247, a family-owned business since 1981. Check them out at AmericanWindowProducts.com. Call them, Frank.
I'm calling American Window Products right now, Jim.
Get into the game at Best Bet. Come enjoy the best in-card games, hospitality, and fun at Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park. You don't have to be a poker pro to have a great time. Featuring poker games of all limits and easy-to-learn games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and Pai Gow. Wager on exciting simulcast races and enjoy delicious food and drink. Our card rooms are open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. and 24 hours on Saturday and Sunday. Details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Tune into our high-energy, multi-platform show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690 in a variety of video streaming platforms as well. As the seasons change, so do the sports topics. It's football season now, and we're bringing you all things sports weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. And you can tailgate with us at the Duval House for every Sunday home game this football season. Fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Jets right tackle Elijah Vera Tucker, the team's best and most versatile offensive lineman, out the rest of the season with a torn Achilles tendon, the second straight season-ending injury for Vera Tucker. Injured Bills linebacker Matt Milano, defensive tackle Daquan Jones will both have surgery, are out indefinitely, not yet determined if either will miss the remainder of the season. Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson out Sunday versus Jacksonville, sprained AC joint, team unsure how much additional time he'll miss. Patriots coach Bill Belichick sticking with Mac Jones as his starting quarterback despite pulling him in back-to-back blowout losses. Four-time Super Bowl champion Charlie Weiss.
Forget about Mac Jones for a second. Who scares you on that offense? I mean, there's no wide receiver threat outside that makes you say, God, we have to stop that guy. They don't have Travis Kelce who's saying, we got to stop that guy.
Charlie Weiss on Unsportsmanlike. Monday Night Football tonight, Raiders, Packers, 8 Eastern, ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2. Injured Green Bay running back Aaron Jones is not expected to play.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Tuesday, the 49ers are the clear #1 in my power rankings, but how will the rest of my top 5 shake out? You might be surprised. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
your chance to win $1,000 as ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. Sponsored by Arlington Toyota with over 800 new and used vehicles available.
Enter the word ticket at ESPN690.com. That's TICKET by 15 past the hour.
Your next chance to win $1,000 and have ESPN 690 pay your bills happens tomorrow morning at 8. This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about two things. Easy cleanup with the Ryobi 18-volt ONE+ Whisper Series leaf blower. And football. That's right, Reese Davis. With variable speed, it has the power for when you really need it and just the right amount when you don't. And the ONE+ battery platform means you go from yard work to DIY in just a click, so you can get projects done faster. Which means more time for football. For football. Upgrade your Saturday with Ryobi and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Yo, 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 what's up, party people? I'm Julie Foudy. And I'm Lynn Ozawi. We host the ESPN podcast Laughter Permitted, where we have candid chats with trailblazing women in sports and beyond.
We've talked with goats like Billie Jean King, Simone Biles, Mia Hamm, Sue Bird, Candace Parker, Michaela Schifrin, just to name a few.
So grab a donut or 500 and check us out wherever you get your podcasts. And a huge shout out to our presenting sponsor, Ally, who has supported us since day one.
It's Laughter Permitted.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me. Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Football at 5 as we're back from London, England, and the Jaguars win 2 games over there against the Falcons and the Bills. And they really right this season, kind of flipped the script a little bit about what it could have been, the disappointment. Somebody just mentioned to me, he said, hey, good wins. I was like, yeah, you know what it does is it keeps everybody excited. It keeps this thing on track. It avoids being 2018 all over again and the disappointment. Listen, there's a lot that can still happen. There's a dozen games to go in the season. But now at 3-2, and I think now the thing is the next 3 games, 2 of them are going to be on the road, guys. They're already 2-0 on the road. You don't win all your road games. I think if they can beat Indianapolis, I think they're going to lose to the Saints, honestly. I think the Jags, that would be the one. I just think that game is going to be so hard based on the last few weeks of travel and everything else. Short week. I already hate Thursday road games anyway for teams. And add everything up. I think that's when this is going to catch up with them. I might be dead wrong. I just think that it could happen. I was wrong last year about the Jets game. I thought the same about the Jets. They had played like 3-12 games. There was a lot of emotion involved, and they went on to beat the Jets in that situation and won all those games in that stretch where we thought, hey, could you just give yourself a chance and win 2 out of 3? So who knows how it's going to shake out. More of the story for me, it'd be great to win all 3. Obviously, you know that. 6-2, now you're in the driver's seat to be in the mix at the end of the year. But I think 5-3, with the way this offense has played at the bye, is the place that the Jags need to get to. Can you get to 5-3? Got to beat Indianapolis because you want to take the lead over them and the sweep of them in the division because they look like they might be the second best team in the division. I think they're going to be better with Minshew in terms of winning games. I really do. And so 5-3 with a win over Indianapolis is where I think the Jags need to be now at the bye week.
I think Minshew might be better for them on offense than Richardson is in the early going, but that doesn't mean Minshew looks good or that offense looks good. That is not a good offense. I've had the chance to watch him last couple of weeks on Red Zone as I go throughout the day, and it's not a team that necessarily is great at moving the ball. Minshew's great at extending plays. We know that firsthand. He scrambles a lot. He'll find one of his backs right over the middle. Zach Moss won that game yesterday. Yeah. That was not a Gardner Minshew game.
Yeah, but it's not going to be Minshew game. My point is you avoid mistakes more with Minshew. Your defense is pretty good. The front's good.
It's really good.
And you're getting Jonathan Taylor back, which means you can run. And obviously, with Moss running the way he has, he's run very well. I think he missed a game and it still has is averaging over 100 yards when he plays.
Yeah.
Which means the offensive line's doing a pretty good job
really
in that
good
part.
Job, yes.
And that's not shouldn't be a surprise. Steichen brings that from Philadelphia. They want to be
and
physical.
They had a good line that had injuries last year, yeah.
So I think they're going to win more games with Minshew playing quarterback over the next month than they would with Richardson.
I don't disagree. I do want to look at the Saints for a second here, though, because early on in the year, I thought the Saints were going to be a pretty dangerous team. That offense on paper looks pretty significant between Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Derek Carr. That being said, they really haven't put it on film yet this season. Their one marquee win is against a putrid Patriots team right now, 34-0.
I can't believe it.
Outside of that, they beat the Titans by 1 and scored 16. They beat the Panthers by 3 and scored 20. They beat the Packers. They lost to the Packers.
Probably should have beat the Packers.
And scored 1.
They lost Carr in that game.
And scored 17. So not a lot of scoring. They got walloped by the Bucs, scored 9. And then obviously the Patriots game. So I think Carr is still getting settled in that offense, but I think the offense is still getting settled in that offense. And the defense isn't necessarily as great as we thought it was going to be for New Orleans either. Very winnable game for the Jaguars.
The New Orleans Saints are a lot like the Titans. They just muddy everything up and make things look ugly.
I like that comp a lot.
And, well, that means they're going to be in the game. And it's a coin flip when you're on the road, all those kind of – again, it could be a physical game. I just don't love that game. I haven't liked it since the schedule came out. I'm going to stay with that.
You said it a few times.
It doesn't mean they can't win it. It doesn't mean I think that they're not better than the Saints. I just think it's the NFL, and you don't go 4-0 on the road, by the way, to start. Usually you don't go 4-0 on the road unless you're just really, 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 really good. And the Jags haven't shown us they are like really, 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 really good yet. But they might be on the verge. See, that's the other thing. The Jags may be on the verge of starting to score and finding their offense. And if that's the case, I think they might roll off these 3. 5-3, guys. Doable. Is that where you think they end up at the bye? Is that a good place to be at the bye? And how important is the win over Indy this week to make sure you sweep them and have the advantage in the South?
I mean, lucky for you, I've been homering up all season. I think they're 3-2 now, right?
3-2?
3-2. I think they can be 6-2 at the bye. I think they can win those 3 games.
Yeah, I think they can. I just don't think they will.
The Steelers are not a good team. And they've got problems right now.
But they're 3-2. They're not a good team, and they're 3-2. The Saints aren't a good team, and they're 3-2.
I get it.
I don't even know if Indianapolis is a good team, and they're 3-2.
But this is what I'm saying, right? There's a lot of parity in the league, but these are very winnable games, very beatable teams. You went into the Bills game, and you were like, the Jags really need their A game to win. Against the Chiefs, the Jags really need their A game to win. I'm sure when we play the Bengals later on this year and the Bengals are looking better and feistier on offense, you saw some of that yesterday, you're going to go, the Jags really need their A game to win. I don't know, man. I'm looking at the Saints and I'm looking at the Steelers. I'm looking at the Colts going, tough games, probably close games. All games the NFL normally are, but very winnable games. Very winnable games.
Kasey, are they going on a roll or you think 5-3? Are they going to lose one of these?
6-2, no exceptions.
No exceptions. Come on, are you watching?
Well, because you're coming off the bye.
Oh, yeah.
And you got San Francisco.
Right.
Then you're finally playing the Titans. And by the way, they look like they're starting to heat up a little bit with D-Hop. Then the Texans again. Bengals. Browns are tough. Ravens are tough. Bucks are tough this year. That's a game you thought you had at the beginning of the season that now you're like, let's find out.
You got to stack them.
That's a good point. I mean, you guys are bringing up pretty worthy point of this might be the part of the schedule you need to get.
You need it, yes.
Right? Like you need to start stacking some games, put you in a position to be able to maybe when you have that stretch of what you said is like San Francisco, Cleveland,
Bengals,
Bucks. You take those 4 games and split them somehow. You know, now that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay because you took care of business. I really believe it comes down to you've got to sweep one of the AFC South teams.
Hopefully 2 of them.
Well, 2 of them would be great, but
Sure.
you can't sweep Houston.
Right.
So you got to split with Houston. I think you've got to continue to own the Colts here in Jacksonville. And you got to win a game when you're playing a rookie head coach and you're playing Minshew versus Trevor.
Right?
I
know he's good, but he's still a backup.
And I respect the heck out of Minshew's ability to win games, but I still think you've got to win that game.
Yes.
And Jonathan Taylor hardly got the ball the other day. Like he's just working his way back.
Yeah, he's not going to be ready.
So, yeah, this might be the time to get on a run and see what you are. You do have some tough games down the road. Let's talk about the rest of the NFL real quick. Just the AFC South. Minshew, we just hit on it. Anthony Richardson, guys, this is a problem. There are a lot of people.
3 out of 5 games now.
A lot of people thought he would watch out for the injury bug with him, which you never want to say about a guy.
Of course not.
But he was banged up at Florida, and the way his style is and can be, you're going to get hit a lot.
I think the part that scares you, too, is that these are all different injuries.
Yeah.
These are all different parts of his body that are getting banged up to the point where he can't play anymore. I saw the hit live as it happened on the shoulder.
You thought he was done.
Brutal. I thought that was like a dislocated shoulder or a rotator cuff or something. I thought he was done. That arm looked dead as he walked off the field.
This is a problem. And here's the other part of this, Kasey. When you're a physical quarterback like that, teams know that they have to be physical with you as a quarterback, even though rules prevent it, obviously, from being too physical. Sure. But to get him to the ground, this has a little bit of Cam Newton in that. And Cam got beat up in his career because I think people need to be extra physical with you to finish the play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's not usually the case with a quarterback. So I think this is a puzzling problem for the Indianapolis Colts because right now, for the first half of this year, it's going to stunt his growth, number one. And how long is it going to be a question? You better have a good backup. And fortunately, they do. They might have the best one in the National Football League, really. But, Kasey, this guy, he can't even finish a game.
Yeah, Buddy has to slide. Buddy has to get out of bounds.
But the whole point is that he's
down.
6'5", 250. He wasn't drafted to slide.
Too late. That's over. Get down immediately under all circumstances, or don't play football after 3 years. Like, that's where you are already. So, yeah, if he doesn't figure out how to get down or they don't make him get down, like this'll be over in a couple of years.
And you're talking about a team with a stellar, easily top 10 offensive line, and he's taken this much damage. What happens when you start to lose a guy like Ryan Kelly or Quentin Nelson or Bernard Raymond? Like, once that happens, now you're really talking about a QB who's going to have some injury issues.
Yeah, this isn't good. I think if I was an Indianapolis fan, I'd be very concerned about this situation with Anthony Richardson. Real quick on Indianapolis, surprised that Jonathan Taylor ended up getting a deal done?
I was very surprised. Although I saw a story, and I think I might have given it to you guys, where his agent was basically quoted as the reason it got done. Oh, I'm sorry. The team said the reason it got done is because we kept the lines of communication open. Everyone was civil is what the team said. They asked the agent. The agent goes, we have leverage. That's why it got done. So no love lost there. I saw the deal and I was shocked. I couldn't understand how Jonathan Taylor could then go play for this team after he was getting besmirched in the media by the owner and the GM for a little bit. But here he is. He's back there, and he's one of the richest contracts for a running back in football. And I think it's good news for the running backs, just not as good as it should be.
Well, it's better news for the running backs. I also think this has a little bit of this could have a Zeke Elliott feel with Dallas. You might get a good bump here in a year, but you might be wondering why you did it in 2. And did you cave? Because I think the better judgment is not to pay the back in this situation. Difference being is at 24 years young, Jonathan Taylor, one of the best backs right now, maybe it does play out to be okay. It's just a short deal. So
3 years, $42 million, a chunk of that guaranteed.
Because I think what's his name's deal was like 4, wasn't it, Ezekiel?
Yeah.
I think it was.
Was it? Okay.
I'm pretty sure when the Cowboys signed him.
Here's Taylor's quote after the story broke. It says, it weighs on you a lot, especially when you're not healthy. You can't go out there and do what you love. He said it's tough, and it pushes you, and it puts you in tough positions mentally, and you got to go and have a good support system, giving credit to his people. He goes, at the end of the day, it's always the organization's decision, though. He said, but being able to put yourself in the best position is always the number one thing you can do, and for me, that was it, not playing.
How much trouble are the Patriots in?
The most trouble. This is a team that I think is sneaking up on people as the worst in football. And I don't think it started the season that way. Kasey, you did call it. Congratulations. Way to go. I don't think it started that way for a lot of people. I don't think it started that way for the organization. But then I think the organization gets on the field and they see Mac Jones still isn't it, even with Bill O'Brien at his back. Juju Smith-Schuster is even worse than what they had in Jacoby Meyer. That Ramondre Stevenson, who's hurt, isn't getting the help in the backfield from Ezekiel Elliott. The defense just lost its great young corner they just drafted as Christian Gonzalez, I believe. There's a big loss for the Patriots. No help is on the way. And I think that locker room is slowly but surely losing faith in the one star left on the roster, and that's Bill Belichick.
Belichick hasn't won a playoff game now in a handful of years.
It's amazing.
He's like 70 what? Isn't he like 73?
He's in his 70s.
Kasey? They got to make a change? Is this it for Belichick?
I called it just so.
Well, that's fine. That's great. You don't get anything for that.
Oh.
Did you fire Belichick at the same time?
No, they should, though.
Belichick's worst coaching losses in his history. Obviously, we talked about the Saints won. The Cowboys won last week, lost by 35, his worst in his history. This weekend against the Saints was his second worst, 34 points. His fourth worst was last year against the Bills, 30 points. So it's not like this is something new, but it does look very putrid up in New England right now.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think they haven't been very good for years. I think they've coached into better, a little bit like Pittsburgh's doing right now. Like, Pittsburgh's a very average football team that can coach into wins somehow. Like, I'm not sure how they're beating the Ravens, but they found a way to beat them. Just this culture and mentality, I think, plays in. But they're losing that. They don't have offense. If you don't have offense in this league, and Mac Jones is getting beaten down and Daniel Jones getting beaten down, but the bottom line is there's not enough around guys like that to really help them, and they need the help. They can't do it by themselves. I think most quarterbacks would struggle in both of those offenses right now.
Oh, yeah.
The way they're built and performing.
I actually think the Pittsburgh offense would be better with different play calling. I think everyone has diagnosed the problem in Pittsburgh as Matt Canada, including his players. And you heard that a little bit in the postgame presser with Kenny Pickett talking about why he chose the play he chose at the line versus the play that supposedly Canada called to end that game. You saw Pickens going down the line, and he grabbed him on the sideline. But to your point, like, tell me the quarterback who succeeds in New England right now. I don't see it. Tell me the quarterback who can survive the Pittsburgh offensive line. I don't see it.
Or the Giants, for that matter, right? I mean, just got no chance. I'm not saying they're good. I just don't. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. Meanwhile, San Francisco. Whoa.
Crazy. They look great.
Have they won 14 regular season games in a row? Did I see that?
Yeah, that.
I think I saw somewhere it was 14.
I mean, regardless of how many in a row, the quarter Brock with 4 touchdowns is a big game.
Called it.
Did you call that they were going to beat people by 30 and never lose? I mean,
not just people.
Yes.
Not just people. The Super Bowl favorite in the NFC.
Bro, I said he was the second best quarterback in the NFC. You guys laughed me off the show.
Yeah, I'd still laugh about it.
I still think there are a lot of quarterbacks that could do
more
well in that offense.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think he's playing. There were some throws in that game that I saw in the highlights. I was like, that's no joke.
Pretty good. That's what confidence will do for you.
Yeah. And listen, I'm not saying – I think there are some people I think I heard saying like Mac Jones would be way better if he was playing on that offense, right? He'd be performing better. I think to that point, I think they're loaded. Their defense is really good. Their roster's good. I think he is a good coach, even though I don't love him. And they're playing with supreme confidence now. Like, they go in and they're going to whoop you. And they beat you up physically, and they can be dynamic and explosive. They're they're just a better addition right now of the Eagles.
Yeah, I buy that. You know, you talk a lot about the Jaguars. Sometimes they go into these games and you feel confident because you got them, you got the quarterback, and you got the coach, and it's better than what they got on the other sideline. The Niners are saying that about their entire roster against almost every team they play.
Yeah, that was a butt whooping.
Embarrassing one for Dallas.
He doesn't even get enough credit. Like, the 4 touchdowns are great. They couldn't run the ball. So, like, quarterback that's not played a lot, come out against that defense, can't run the ball, like, you panic. And he's like, nah, it's fine. I'll just find every open receiver at every second.
Did McCaffrey score yesterday?
He did.
He did.
All right, good.
He didn't run for a bunch, but he did score.
That's what I'm saying. They could not.
Had that anytime touchdown on Flip. I got to check it out.
Hey,
there's no value there. It's like minus 195.
I'm just doubling it every time. I'm just taking it till I lose. All the Flip coins I got going on McCaffrey every week.
All the Flip coins
Literally,
you have?
that's how we're doing it.
Crazy enough, the point differential in the NFL, the Bills are at plus 79. That's second best.
Yeah.
They have 2 losses. They're plus 79. The Niners are at plus 99. Undefeated at plus 99. I mean, they're just cruising right now. And I'll tell you one other thing. The Eagles are undefeated. The Niners are undefeated. They're expected to be good. They are good. The teams that all were supposed to be like, whoa, in the AFC, you have some questions about it. Maybe except for the Dolphins. I mean, but the Dolphins got shellacked by Buffalo. But outside of that, they've been awesome. Buffalo just puts up a little bit of a stinker yesterday.
And against the Jets.
And the Jets. There's nobody in the North that's like good, that it looks like, that's running away with it. Cincinnati is nothing like anybody thought they would be to this point.
I'm going to pause you on the North for 1 second, just briefly, because I know I've said I thought the Browns would win the North, and now the Browns look a little bit less because Deshaun doesn't look as good. I do think Cincy is showing signs of life.
Okay, well, it's Arizona, though.
Fair. It's fair. And they've played other people well.
But he wore the shirt.
I do think they're showing signs of life. And I will say that Baltimore, despite losing the game yesterday, and I watched a bunch of that game because it was on Paramount Plus, I got to see a little bit of it, And Baltimore was in control of most of that game until the end where defense came through for Pittsburgh, and then they scored on a late-breaking play. I do think as Lamar gets more comfortable with Monken's offense, that's a team at the end of the season that will be operating at a high gear.
Did you have like a plug that you had to get in for Paramount Plus there?
I didn't know they played football on Paramount Plus.
You can watch CBS games on Paramount Plus. Yeah.
That's good. Like,
any of them?
No, just whatever they're showing.
That was a weird throw-in.
Oh, I wish I
got
would have
to
known.
watch the game is all.
I wish I would have known that. I had to watch whatever garbage game we had on.
Kasey, I would like you from now on to acknowledge, like when you say acknowledge a game that you watched a minute or two of or whatever of, where you watched it, please.
Are you sure? Because I just called the game I watch garbage, and you know where I watched it. So
hey, listen, I don't make the schedule.
Because it was brutal. Dolphins, Giants, and who was the other?
You don't want to
game?
watch the Dolphins?
Is that what we had yesterday? We had Dolphins, Giants.
You had Dolphins, Giants, and then something else that was brutal.
Ravens.
I moved it to Ravens Steelers because we had another game and it was Colts Titans, and I asked them to switch it to Ravens Steelers.
No, I wanted Colts Titans.
Okay, nobody would want that, Kasey.
0 people except for Jags fans.
We're in Jacksonville.
No, Jags fans don't even want that. Jags fans don't want to watch
the Jags already
Colts
playing? Of course they do.
They do. No, they don't.
Oh, man.
Jacksonville doesn't want that.
I would watch an AFC. Without the Jets on TV, I would watch an AFC East team over anybody else.
I get that's not the case in Jacksonville, though. You have too many like transient people. The numbers are way better with Pittsburgh, Baltimore
I see what you're
than
saying.
it is with the – look, you even know it's not as energized when you go to the Colts, Titans, and Texans.
I see what you're
Nobody's dying to watch them play.
There was another game on that I wanted. Oh, Texans, Falcons.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I bet on the Texans.
Oh, Texans, Falcons we had, right? Probably on Fox?
No, you didn't.
Oh, we didn't do that? I don't think we had an option for that one then.
What was on?
Oh, there was a movie. Oh, I got a great. Let me share this with you before we go and check out tweets.
Might have been.
We didn't have that, so I get an email. This was a good email. You always like them, my Monday emails or Sunday emails.
We got stuck with Dolphins, Giants.
So
Brent.
this is from
Dolphins are fun.
This is from Steve, and not Steve that calls in. Why aren't you broadcasting today's game between the Eagles and the Rams? I turned on your station expecting to watch the game. Instead, you are showing some ridiculous show about wrestling. You should do some research and look into the migration of Philly residents that have moved to the Jacksonville area. You would be very surprised, very disappointed in your broadcast decision. I just want to shake some of these people and be like, Steve, this was not my broadcasting decision or any of ours. If we could show the NFL instead of anything else, we would.
Me and you
Do they
handle
really
these
think
things.
we showed wrestling? We chose to show wrestling
I don't know.
over the NFL, Steve.
I don't know, Brent. There's not really any proof that you didn't choose.
There's actually proof to the contrary because I have an email with Brent on it where his boss is celebrating that they're going to be showing wrestling instead of football.
Right. Like I don't understand, Brent. If the NFL is on, why wouldn't you guys show it over
Brent's
wrestling?
busy capping right now is what he's doing.
I don't get it. Why would you have wrestling on and not the football?
No excuses, Brent. Do your research.
It's not that hard to understand. There's only football on 1 day a week.
Says Crixus.
One day a week. More than that.
2 days a week.
3.
That's not what you said in the email. You said it's too
no,
much.
For your
is what you said in
station,
the
it's
email.
only on 1 day a week, you bum. You can't have Amazon. You can't have NBC. You don't work there. It's on 1 day a week for you. You guys have one chance to show the football, and you show wrestling.
Really doesn't take much for you to go to the bum comment.
I mean, what a disaster, huh?
I mean, we were showing football at 9:30 in the morning yesterday with Action News
that was
Jax.
awesome. This is my favorite thing about the London game.
So is NFL Network.
Hey, you better not be watching over there, you son of a. Oh.
Do you have a digital antenna case?
Good numbers on Fox 30 the last couple of weeks, even with the split broadcast.
Cool.
Yeah.
What did the dumb Dolphins game get?
Dolphins game was like a 12 rating. It was pretty good.
And then what about the wrestling show you wanted on? The wrestling show that you voted for? How much did that do?
Did not do as hot. That was definitely a poor choice.
Coming up after the wrestling show, it's a show about shoulder pads.
Brett's got that. Locked and loaded. That's in the can, baby.
I love how that's like your favorite story I've ever done.
It's just so random.
That's a good story.
But you
too.
also made it sound interesting. Like, I'm not going to lie. I was sitting here going, I think I may watch this. It's kind of interesting.
Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. We talk more football when we come back. Football at 5 on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690. Another nice cool night tonight under clear to partly cloudy skies, dropping into the upper 40s inland to the 50s to around 60 at the beaches. Mostly sunny and a little warmer for Tuesday. The afternoon high 80 to 85. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Don't miss Beards' incredible buy one, get one on wedding bands now through October 31st.
It's fantasy football like you've never played it before. You love fantasy football, right? Of course you do. Do you like competing? Yeah. You like winning? Absolutely. It's Fantasy Card Breaks with Davoli's House of Cards. You don't know your team until you open the pack of cards. There's curiosity, competition, and collecting prizes. Visit Davoli's House of Cards off 210 in St. Johns County, or just visit fantasycardbreaks.com. Fantasy football like you've never played it before with Davoli's House of Cards. fantasycardbreaks.com.
In 1958, the world was introduced to Buddy Guy.
I sit and cry and sing the blues.
Don't miss the legend live.
You're damn right, I got the blues.
The Damn Right Farewell Tour. Friday, October 20th, the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Special guest, Chris Stone, Kingfish Ingram. Tickets on sale now at theamp.com. The Damn Right Farewell Tour. Buddy Guy.
QC Kinetics is helping you see the future of joint pain relief. It's here, and it is with QC Kinetics, advanced regenerative medicine. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. If you've been told more steroids or surgery are your only options, well, don't be so fast to do that. Get a second opinion and learn more about how you can harness your body's own healing agents to attack that joint pain. Get that opinion with QC Kinetics. You can call for a free consultation today, 904-274-5522. And we're talking about lasting relief. QC Kinetics doesn't mask the pain. These treatments go to the very root of the problem using concentrated healing properties placed directly in your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue. Imagine living your life this fall with no more pain in your knees, your hips, your shoulder, your back, no drugs, no downtime, no surgery. Life is about motion, staying in motion. QC Kinetics is giving people their lives back. Get a free consultation today, 904-274-5522. In Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, 904-274-5522.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
Play a little pool, watch some football, eat wings, and, of course, plenty of adult beverages. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day. Now open for lunch at 11:30 on Friday and Saturdays. Daily specials like 75-cent Wing Wednesday, $3 Draft Thursday, and $3 Seltzer Saturday. Pool, darts, shuffleboard in a fun, clean atmosphere at Perfect Rack Billiards. It's your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20 and a free shot with every Jags touchdown. It's up to the Jags to score. It's up to you to have fun at Perfect Rack Billiards in Jacksonville.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Must be present in a state where lawful to wager, must be 21 plus and present in select states. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit KSGamblingHelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelpma.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
We're in the middle of it now, the fall season, as we hit October on the campus of the University of North Florida. Swoop with the Ospreys, soccer, cross country, volleyball, golf, swimming programs, all in mid-season form. Plenty of events to attend, something for everyone on the campus of UNF. And coming soon, it's men's and women's basketball. The schedule is out, plenty of home games to attend. Bring the family. Season tickets are for sale. Get news, schedules, results, and tickets at UNFOspreys.com and swooper the Ospreys all season.
Are you passionate about addressing health disparities in our community? Raise funds for life-saving research and inspire change for the chance to be named the American Heart Association's First Coast Leaders of Impact winner. Contact AHA First Coast at heart.org to nominate yourself or a local changemaker.
As residential golf cart use increases, make sure you and your child know the safety basics to help avoid crashes and injuries. Whether you're driving a golf cart on the course or off, staying safe should always be a priority. Learn more at go.baptistjacks.com/golf cart.
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
You don't even like your quarterback.
Kasey Kuhrts.
You don't even like your team.
And Aaron Schachter.
I don't even like myself, guys. Do you know me?
On Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
We're just catching up during the break.
Were we?
Good to see you guys again.
Doing the overtime cover song right now.
That's actually not what was happening, but okay. Okay.
Well, maybe Aaron and I were.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Before I came back.
Yeah, before you came back in, started.
Conspiracy theoristing.
Yes.
Now, that was real life.
That was real life.
We should call over there and ask him. Why didn't Brent get invited?
That was a you question.
I'm wondering. If their phones were open, I'd call right now. But I'll never get through.
Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. Give us some tweets, X's. What are we talking about?
Sure thing. Let's start with Trev.
I like that.
All right. We talked a lot about his performance earlier in the show.
I like that.
Let's talk about it at the end of the show. While most of you were watching some of the wrestling content Brent voted on having on the television, Trev's out there cooking. Here's PFF Jaguars case on how Trev did in the game on 3rd and 4th down. You think Trev has heard enough about 3rd and 4th down, by the way? Look at this performance. 9 out of 10, 114 yards with a tutty and a 147.5 passer rating. Near perfect. Near perfect. Is this the beginning of the end of the 3rd down narrative for the Jaguars this year or not?
I mean, they still had a short yardage one they didn't get.
It was just one, though.
You're allowed to have one.
They did get one later.
I know.
They actually got back-to-back. Then the favorite play of the game was when they were 3rd and 1. They get a false start, and I'm like, good, I feel better about 3rd and 6.
I said the same thing. I texted Brian. I texted Brian. I was like, they might actually get it now.
And they converted.
Yeah,
no, they did. They converted.
3rd and 1's probably a Trev sneak.
So I did. Oh, shoot. I forgot. I took a picture of it today, all my homework on 3rd downs. But I was doing pretty good homework on the plane ride back on 3rd downs.
Before or after the orange juice?
No, after. That woke me up.
You're like, I might as well research some stuff.
I'm so mad about the yard, especially now that I heard it was in between your toes, all sticky. It's just gross.
Why?
It's not that bad.
Can we get this guy on the show, whoever he was?
Awful.
I didn't get his number. Sorry. Listen, Trev, on this down, again, this is that's important. That wins the games. That won them the game. 9 out of 10 throwing on 3rd downs. The 4th down stuff, by the way, they didn't even have one in the game that they went for it.
He's getting asked about 3rd down every week now.
Yeah.
Every week he's got to answer about 3rd downs.
31% to like 56%. That's a huge jump. That's why they won the football game. That's why you keep the ball. You keep it out of Josh Allen's hands. Made some clutch throws. Again, out of the end zone. Big throws. I'm watching another throw they just showed, and he had like 3 people, but, you know, the work that he did with his eyes to get it to Christian Kirk, terrific. Just so many big plays from Trevor Lawrence in that game. But I think that metric, outside of his numbers of 315 and a touchdown, really tell the story about what he did and elevated his play and helped them win the game. And he was the guy. 9 out of 10 throwing on 3rd down. That's big-time stuff. And I'll remind people that the drop was on 3rd down. So he really could have been a perfect 10 for 10. I saw some of his pressure numbers, too. At one time, I think he was 10 of 14 under pressure
with
yesterday.
someone in his face, yeah.
When he wasn't getting sacked.
Mm-hmm.
So on the other plays that he didn't get sacked on. Keep in mind the play to Zay Jones was a 3rd down play as well, and it was a good enough throw that if it went incomplete, they would have kicked the field goal, so he wasn't going to put the ball in danger. Just a lot of good stuff from Trevor yesterday. I think the Baltimore game, maybe the Titans' first game, 36-22, when he had the 4 touchdown performance and threw for 330, like those were probably his best games. This one was not far from his best NFL game, in my opinion. The command, the change in plays, the toughness, the big-time throws, the third downs. They won this game because they've got a big-time quarterback, and I think it showed.
Yeah, agreed. Let's talk about another quarterback, one we're going to see this weekend. This from Ian Rappaport yesterday after Anthony Richardson ended up leaving the game. Colts starting quarterback Anthony Richardson received an initial diagnosis of a grade 3 AC joint sprain. That would mean he'd miss a month or more. He's got an MRI this morning to confirm he's already taken that MRI. They're already reporting he's definitely out this weekend. Rappaport says either way, it's likely Gardner Minshew next week and moving forward. And we know that to be the case now. So, Brent, you've already said you think Gardner Minshew will make less mistakes than maybe a rookie quarterback like Anthony Richardson would make. But do we really believe, guys, that Gardner Minshew gives the Colts the better chance to win over Anthony Richardson?
I do. Yeah, I do. I flat out think it's a better option right now with them at 3-2. With them getting Jonathan Taylor back, Kasey, I think this gives the opportunity for the Colts over the next month, I don't know what their schedule looks like, to win a couple of ball games, be in the mix by the time Richardson gets back, so much so that I think they'll have to think about putting him back in.
Wow. Is there any world case in which Anthony Richardson doesn't start when he comes back?
No, I disagree strongly, Brent. I think Richardson just started cooking. I think when they get Jonathan Taylor, they can finally do what they envisioned with their offense. They started to do it a little bit. Ironically, the play he got hurt on was an option, but they can start doing all that fun stuff. Zach Moss is now good, so you could have both of them in the backfield with Anthony Richardson. You have no idea where the ball's going. And
forward.
I mean, but maybe backwards initially,
maybe,
and then forward.
Yeah.
So I think Anthony Richardson's been all right for them. And I think if he would just stop getting hurt, the development would continue.
Someone should tell him that.
Yeah. But I think he's back in when he is healthy, 100%.
They might have to. Like, they've made their bed to the point where they're committed to him, and they've got to do that. But I'm just not – I bet there's a debate.
But he hasn't been bad.
I get it. Jags, Browns, Saints, and Panthers are the next 4 games. Now, they need to lose to the Jags. If they beat the Jags with Minshew and somehow end up like 3-1 in that stretch, let's just assume that Anthony Richardson's out for 4 games.
Sure.
I mean, if they go 3-1 in that stretch,
6-3,
and they're 6-3, I just don't see him going back. Like, I don't think you can, because Minshew has been part of all 3 wins so far.
That's
right?
true.
He's 3-0,
and we've
he's not 3-0 technically, but he's part of 3 wins.
We had this discussion before the start of the season when they were about to name Richardson the starting quarterback, and I'm like, hey, if the team is good, do you keep Minshew in? And now it's hard to say no.
Yeah, and I think Kasey isn't totally wrong here. Richardson's performed better than I thought he would. He looks like he's growing when he plays.
Well, he hasn't been making those ugly mistakes we expected.
But there's a difference between inserting him back in the month where the season's still a little, okay, you don't know where it's going. And if they were to go 3-1 in that stretch, let's just say that, and they're 6-3, and they're playing well, because they would be playing well at 6-3. And I don't think anybody thought the Colts would be 6-3 after 9 games.
No.
But if that is the case, I just don't know how you upset that if you're the Colts.
Let me also say this. Now you've got a quarterback who you know isn't accurate, who also can't power the ball down the field 60 yards because his arm is hurt.
So he would be rested by then, or better, you'd think.
Do you think it'd be totally healed or just good enough to play?
Well, see, that's the thing, they can play wherever they're at, right? Do they need to put him back in? And here's the other thing about it. How many times are you going to do this to the rest of the offense if he really has been out of 3 of the first 5 games? You better really make sure he's healed up, because now you're just doing this back and forth.
Yeah.
And it is different. I mean, Anthony Richardson plays a different game than Gardner Minshew.
Different, yes.
So I don't know if that's fair to your football team to do it. And sooner or later, that's what you end up asking. You say, what is best for the other 52 guys in this room? What is best for the franchise? I just wonder if they're in a good position. Again, they'd have to roll off 3 out of 4 for this probably to work in what I'm saying. I don't think they would say Anthony Richardson.
Last word on this case. Don't you think it's easier for them to stick with Gardner if the Jags are bad versus the Jags? I mean, stick with Anthony Richardson if the Jags aren't competing with them for the top of the AFC South. If the Colts are in control of the division with Minshew, I'm agreeing with you. It's hard to take him out. But if you're in the middle of the pack and the Jags are catching fire, I think you feel a little more confident about throwing Richardson back in there.
Totally.
I don't think there's any debate. I mean, if Gardner pulls off wins, that's great. But I think we're all on the same page. If the Colts are winning, it's because they're handing it to their two backs and they're playing defense. I would be shocked if they're winning because Gardner's throwing for 4 touchdowns and 400 yards. It's not happening. So if you're going to have somebody hand it off, at least have the guy in there to hand it off that's a threat of actually not handing it off and taking him himself and blowing by everybody.
Yeah.
I think he's in there no matter what.
I really think with a good defense and a running game, though, you got to be careful to make mistakes. Rookies make mistakes. Minshew knows how to not make mistakes.
He hasn't made a ton of mistakes yet, though.
It could be an interesting conversation. This game has a long way to go to saying that, I believe, if they beat the Jags here in Jacksonville. Because now you're catching life if you're Indianapolis. You're like, wait a minute. We're going through quarterbacks, yet we're 4-2. We just finally won on the road against Jacksonville. We've got Jonathan Taylor kind of back. We got Zach Moss playing well. We feel good about ourselves. So
I don't know.
It's a big game for the Colts. Regardless of the quarterback situation, it's a big game for the Colts. Like, if they win it changes really where they are at, and they become a major danger, I think, to the Jacksonville Jaguars and running the AFC South.
And they are winning these games by running the ball. You look at the games. The only game they didn't run for 100 yards this season? Jacksonville Jaguars. First game of the year at 65 yards. But they tossed the ball, man. 39 passes, 33 passes, 44 passes.
And that game, Jags game, they didn't have Moss or Taylor.
Fair. 25 passes, 26 passes. So it's not like it's 11 of 15 and the rest is on the ground. They asked the quarterback to do a little bit, but I don't think they asked him to do too much.
What else you got?
All right. Let's go to the 2023 quarterback leaders by adjusted net yards per attempt. This is a Kasey Kuhrts tweet right here. Cool. Number 1, leading the league, Brock Purdy, 9.8 adjusted net yards per attempt. But number 3, C.J. Stroud, 7.7. This is where we pivot from a Kasey tweet to an Aaron tweet, by the way.
Oh.
Because number 1 on the list, Brock Purdy, one of the best ever S2 cognition scores, 98th percentile. Number 3 on the list, C.J. Stroud, one of the worst ever, 18th percentile. Is this enough to say the S2 test doesn't mean anything? Or can talent overcome the processing issues?
What did Zach Wilson get? I see his name.
He was adjusted net air yards, not S2 results.
Sorry.
He is 32nd on that list.
So basically, if I'm understanding this right, Stroud's kind of an outlier.
According to basically this specific list, they're just pointing out both these guys did polar opposite on S2, and they're both tearing up the league this year.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's too new.
How do you explain what C.J. Stroud has going on this year?
Yeah, and Stroud was pretty good, right? It wasn't unbelievable, but it's still pretty good. I don't know what he threw for.
I'll tell you what he didn't throw. He didn't throw an interception.
Yeah.
He now owns the all-time record.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'll tell you what else he didn't do. Score more points than the Falcons. I lost my bet.
They lost that game at the end, though. They almost pulled that game out.
Yeah,
well, they did it, though. You know, I mean, they don't give you your bet back because
it was
they
on
almost
the defense.
won.
It wasn't on CJ, is my point.
And that was coming off of a Jags debacle where I needed McManus to kick 2 field goals, and they fumbled twice in the red zone.
Oof, that was tough.
That
Did you lose
was
your
off
kicker prop?
I did. That was off a debacle on Saturday in which I paired up Alabama, nice, check mark, with some other bums that lost. I forget who it was.
I love the Alabama game was wild, right? Because then we have 2.5, and I think Texas A&M was down 26-17, and they had 4th and 2 on obviously
2.5, yeah.
4th and goal on the 2 or something like that, and of course they kicked the field goal. That's how close Vegas is to you know.
Did you see what happened in Missouri game?
I don't think I did.
5?
That was LSU, Missouri?
Yeah, 5.5 is the spread.
LSU won that, didn't they?
Yeah, it's a 2-point game. Missouri gets it back at the end, chance to win. Dude throws a pick 6.
Oh, is that how they got it to 10?
Yeah.
I won that one, I think.
You did. But I was so mad. That was one that I was like, you know what? We played it right.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Both
It's
those
so
games, right?
annoying.
I think I picked Texas A&M.
You did.
You did, yes.
But I was like, yeah, see, those are the things. I do think when you're like, if you're putting a wager on something, you didn't necessarily play it wrong.
Yeah.
But you kind of just lost it, right?
I mean,
sometimes you play it pretty. I think you can play it right and still lose. I know that doesn't seem to make sense.
You telling me, bro? It's
But that's
right
like
now.
the true lucky or unlucky, because they could easily go for it in that spot, get it 4th and 2.
But he also
and
could have
cover.
just went down on the pick 6. You know what I'm saying? You don't have
and he
to
could.
score.
Yeah, good point.
Just go to better coaching there from Brian Kelly. Your guy goes down. You know what I mean? You run out the clock.
Like Mahomes did to the Jets. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, basically. Basically, if he
And
pulls a
maybe Etienne
Mahomes.
should have done.
No, fantasy points. No, absolutely not.
Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton coming up next. We also have Monday Night Football tonight right here on ESPN 690, our Westwood One coverage of Monday Night Football. You can catch it after overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton. Don't forget to check out our podcast as well, Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690, and always jump in on any of the social media, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Right there on YouTube, subscribe to Action Sports Shacks and see all we do on TV and on radio.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. We'll have 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000. All you have to do is enter the correct keyword at ESPN690.com to be eligible to win. This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply. ESPN 690 pays your bills. Sponsored by Arlington Toyota with over 800 new and used vehicles available. Weekdays at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 2 and 5 p.m. Tune in to win from ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Car Bravo is here at Nimnick Buick GMC, a better way to shop used vehicles with transparent pricing. Nimnick Buick GMC has joined the Car Bravo family and is the only Car Bravo dealer in Northeast Florida. Hey, it's a win-win for everyone. You always win at Nimnick Buick GMC. I've always won 6 different cars purchased for our family. Terrific selection of used cars under $20,000 at Nimnick. Experience Euphoria with Car Bravo online at nimnickbuickgmc.com or visit the showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
This is Ortho Health Insights. Tips for life in motion, brought to you by the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. You are never too old or too young to begin improving your orthopedic health. Most people experience pain in or around their feet or ankles at some point in their lives. Walking, hiking, stretching, body weight lifting, and yoga can help keep your feet and ankles strong. Pay attention to your shoes. Whether you're taking a long walk or a quick trip to the grocery store, make sure you wear shoes that fit well and have good support and cushioning. If you're experiencing foot or ankle pain that seems to be getting worse, the orthopedic physicians at JOI are experienced in diagnosing the cause and treating your pain. Whether you need a course of physical therapy or surgery, JOI can help. Call 904-JOI-2000. That's 904-JOI-2000 or go to JOI.net. JOI is the official sports medicine provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to dissipate heat and friction and reduce wear. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99. Limit supply. See store for details. Get Syntec only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Tune into our high-energy, multi-platform show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690 and a variety of video streaming platforms as well. As the seasons change, so do the sports topics. It's football season now, and we're bringing you all things sports weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. And you can tailgate with us at the Duval House for every Sunday home game this football season. Fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks.
Frank, you got to come see my new windows from American Window Products. They're beautiful and they keep the house so cool.
Oh, slow down, Jim.
No, Frank. American Window Products is having a sale right now, and you said you wanted a locally owned business with qualified products and professional installers. Well, American Window Products has all that and more.
More?
Yes, selection and great prices at American Window Products.
Oh, what's that number?
731-2247, a family-owned business since 1981. Check them out at AmericanWindowProducts.com. Call them, Frank.
I'm calling American Window Products right now, Jim.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers.
They take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Play a little pool, watch some football, eat wings, and, of course, plenty of adult beverages. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day. Now open for lunch at 11:30 on Friday and Saturdays. Daily specials like 75-cent Wing Wednesday, $3 Draft Thursday, and $3 Seltzer Saturday. Pool, darts, shuffleboard in a fun, clean atmosphere at Perfect Rack Billiards. It's your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20 and a free shot with every Jags touchdown. It's up to the Jags to score. It's up to you to have fun at Perfect Rack Billiards in Jacksonville.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the
right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, or follow me on Twitter at BrentASJacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Where's the banger been today, Case?
You got to talk right away, Brent. Not enough. Too much bump music.
Too much bump music.
It's fun.
Now, if it was BM15, I wouldn't be complaining. He's so mad.
Gotta talk immediately.
I knew I made a mistake as soon as I said, well, let's bring the people in from the break here for a second, because we're talking during the break, and I thought I heard a promo come on the radio in the speakers. And normally that means
3 minutes ago.
Yeah. Normally that means we're coming back. So I look at Case and I was like, all right, man, let's go, let's get back. And he looks at me like I just ran over his dog with my car and then yelled at him for putting the dog in the street. Like, I was just worried, man.
Got it under control.
I was just worried.
As I do every day.
All right. I was just worried.
I will let you know bump music coming in about a minute, so wrap this thing up.
But BM15 is the bomb. Hopefully it's BM15. Let's play that the whole time.
You guys are funny.
It's not going to be 15. Looking like 22.
I got a whole new segment for us tomorrow, by the way, guys. Yeah.
We got a lot. By the way, sorry, look at all this stuff. Hey, we got to Anthony Richardson.
I had some fun stuff today.
Jonathan Taylor.
I had some fun stuff for the crowd. We had
we got to that.
NFL Week 6 betting, the best lines before they move.
We'll
I like that a lot. We could do that unless they've moved. Craziest NFL stats you've ever heard.
I like this.
Those are fun, right? Biggest overreactions. Let's go.
Justin Jefferson, is he hurt?
He hurt himself, but I think the bigger concern, he hurt his hamstring. The bigger concern there is that the report came out this weekend, guys. The Vikings offered him a big-time deal, and he was like, no thanks. We don't know what's happening.
Tell me who my quarterback is, right?
Yes.
We did talk about Belichick. See that?
Yeah, we did some of it.
Patrick Mahomes beats all 31 teams. Tell me something that isn't new.
Okay.
It is pretty amazing.
It is new. It just happened.
It just happened. But
tell me, he did that. I think he's the fastest to do it, first one to do it for under 30 years old.
Look, you know the story already. We didn't even need to do it. You're already informed.
Good thing we printed it.
3 times.
4 times, right? Did you give one to Brian?
No, I did not.
Okay.
We got 3 other things left over for tomorrow from your killing of trees.
I'm excited about it. Kill more of them. Let's go.
Did you see, I did play yesterday, Shad Khan talking about Trevor's contract?
No, I did not see that.
I also did not.
It wasn't earth-shattering. It was more, they're not too far down the road with it.
It's like we still have to buy a bigger truck for the money.
Yeah, but obviously said he's better than we expected in terms of all this stuff.
Yeah.
And
way to have leverage, Shad.
And he's planned for the future, right? I will say this. It's very much, and you know the organization has moved the money and had cognizant of the money and where it's at next year and the year after for this very move. You know, we know that to be. And it's days like yesterday that say, damn, that thing might be well over $55 million. Right, boys?
I think it might even be closer to 60 now.
Every win goes up. I think if my math's right, the Jags are 10-3 in their last 13 regular season games.
That's wild.
I'm going to go look something up. How many regular season games you have to go further back to find 10 wins total? It might take all the way back to 2018.
Jim in the chat says, did you guys know that the win over Buffalo was the 200th in franchise history?
Really? I did not.
Check that out, too. We would have known had you scheduled football instead of wrestling this weekend, but unfortunately the TV didn't play.
Overtime with bump music.
Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton setting a record for bump music. They will do that to start the show, no doubt.
Oh, without it. We'll see you in about 8 minutes. I'm running that thing dry.
Sorry, Case.
Go get a snack. It'll be a while before we're back.
On TV tonight, Fox 30, 7 o'clock, Jags Report Live. Come on out to Sneakers in Jax Beach, and we'll talk more about the Jaguars. Back at it tomorrow, 3 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Do ball.
Have a good night, everybody. It's fantasy football like you've never played it before. You love fantasy football, right? Of course you do. Do you like competing? Yeah. You like winning? Absolutely. It's Fantasy Card Breaks with Davoli's House of Cards. You don't know your team until you open the pack of cards. There's curiosity, competition, and collecting prizes. Visit Davoli's House of Cards off 210 in St. Johns County, or just visit fantasycardbreaks.com. Fantasy football like you've never played it before with Davoli's House of Cards. fantasycardbreaks.com.
Hey, poker fans, you're in for a treat this October at Best Bet. With over $690,000 in poker promotions paid out this month, this is no time to be on the sidelines. Highlights include the $400 GoPo 400 with $40,000 guarantee at Best Bet Orange Park, the $100,000 guarantee St. Augustine Championship, and the return of the World Poker Tour $1 million guarantee at Best Bet Jacksonville. For all the details, visit bestbetjax.com. That's bestbetjax.com.
Koala Insulation.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Hey, it's Brian Middleton, and if you've been following along, you know about my weekly successes with Awaken 180. And I say weekly because every week the number keeps going down. And after week 6 with Awaken 180, I'm now down 33 pounds. I dropped another 4.4 pounds just last week, and yes, I'm still eating. In fact, it feels like I'm eating more now than I was 33 pounds ago. I'm just eating the right foods for me. I started Awaken 180 because I needed a change, to make a 180 with my health and honestly, just to feel better. And I already do. Like my energy level when I wake up in the morning ready to start my day has skyrocketed since I've started Awaken 180. If you're looking for the same change, do what I did and call the solution for weight loss, fast and safe weight loss, and then receive free support for life. Reserve your at-home consultation today at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau. Check out Action Sports Jax weekdays from 3 until 6 on ESPN 690.
What's up? It's Kasey. Check out the podcast Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690, wherever you get your podcasts.
Is Sports Center.
away from first pitch, Game 2 National League Divisional Series, Braves and Phillies. Then at 8:30 Eastern, Game 2 Diamondbacks Dodgers. The Jets will be without their best offensive lineman the remainder of this season. Elijah Vera-Tucker out with a torn Achilles. Bowl Trophy quarterback Anthony Richardson injured shoulder, out at least Sunday against Jacksonville. Patriots have scored 3 total points in back-to-back blowout losses. Quarterback Mac Jones pulled at both, does remain the starter. New England has no identity right now, says ESPN's Herm Edwards.
You watch the offense break the huddle. After a series of 2 you go, there's nobody over there that really scares me. So, okay, when you look at your defense, you go, the rushers out, got a rookie forward that was good. Scares me over there. Nobody.
Herman, Freddie, and Harry. Packers running back Aaron Jones, hamstring injury setback, likely out against the Raiders Monday Night Football, 8 Eastern, ESPN, ABC, and ESPN2.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Tuesday, the 49ers are the clear #1 in my power rankings, but how will the rest of my top 5 shake out? You might be surprised. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides 24/7 compassionate support and connection to trained counselors. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, just call, text, or chat 988.
Oh, how y'all doing? Oh, man. I would love to tell you what just happened in here, but I can't do that. Oh, my.
Y'all cold-blooded, man.
Goodness.
Y'all are cold-blooded individuals, man.
Y'all? Who is y'all?
You.
I started. I didn't finish it.
You.
Hey.
Both of you guys in there are cold-blooded.
Hey.
Holy smokes. Miami got to get on y'all bad side.
We can't be yelling on the radio, but yo.
You came in with, how you doing?
How you doing?
Talking about you can't yell on the radio, man.
That's what I've been told.
Holy smokes.
Holy cow, man.
That's terrible.
See ya.
Goodbye, man. Look both ways before you cross the street, man. Holy smokes. Y'all are cold-blooded in here. I'm not even.
Oh, my.
I can't even.
Goodness.
What we doing?
Jags.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, there you go. All right.
All right, folks. This is Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton. ESPN 690. Wow. The Jags beat the Bills. That was pretty wild, huh? That was a wild Sunday morning over there in London. Wow. Okay. Where do we want to start? Because there's two very, very different places to start. One of them is offense, one of them is defense. And we spent a lot of time for the last 3 hours talking about the Jags offense, and probably not enough time talking about the Jags defense, which put up an unbelievable showing against the Buffalo Bills offense.
Sounds like you made a decision.
Did I?
Sounds like the decision's been made then.
I was going to have you make the decision.
Where do
right?
we want to start? If they've gotten 3 hours of Jags offense, they can get another 30 of some more Jags offense. Oh, no, but we can start defense. Either way, man, there's enough to talk about on both sides of the ball.
I just believe, Brian, that their defense is not getting the credit today. After every national media member and Buffalo Bills fan blamed travel and blamed the field conditions and blamed this and blamed that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right?
That's fine.
The one thing that does not get enough credit, Jim, we appreciate you, by the way. Aaron didn't block them in the YouTube chat. We try to tell them we're not buying the OF, but they just, kept commenting. So we appreciate you doing the work to get rid of the chat. But this Jags defense has now done this to start the season. They allowed 21 points to the Indianapolis Colts. Solid. They allowed 17 points to the Kansas City Chiefs. 37 to Houston was bad, I'm not going to lie. And then in London, 7 to the Atlanta Falcons and 20 to the Buffalo Bills. Brian, their defense is good, right?
Yeah. I think the defense is coming along nicely.
Coming along nicely, Brian. I asked you if they're good.
They have been they have been the more consistent of the two sides.
Absolutely.
They have kept us in games. They have allowed us to stay on top of games. And I would say overall, from 1 to 11 on the starters of the Jags, if we're saying, are they good? Meaning, more times than not, when they're going on the field, do they have a good chance of eventually stopping the opposing offense from getting a touchdown? Maybe not a field goal, but a touchdown. Then yeah, I think that they're good. There are some teams with some defenses, I don't think you can go on the field and say that and can have that confidence. And Kasey, the other part, and I was just chatting it up with Chase before I came in here, and it was something that we talked about on Friday when we were talking about the Buffalo Bills, who, listen, they're still a good team, and they are still explosive. If you watched that fourth quarter especially, you were like, when they went 75 yards in 2 plays, I think, something like that, something goofy like that.
Yes, yeah.
They'll be fine, at least for the regular season. Playoffs, I don't know. But in the regular season, Buffalo's going to be fine when it comes to the offense. But the thing that I brought up, and I needed a bigger sample size because it was the first game of the season. They were facing a good to great defense. People were really guffawing over the New York Jets. And then that secondary really showed up. Whitehead had the multiple interceptions. You got Sauce Gardner out there. That's always going to be an issue for opposing QBs unless he's injured. And my question was, okay, Miami, they're missing their number one DB. I forgot who else that Buffalo's beat, but I think didn't they beat somebody where they only allowed 3 points, and then somebody else they beat by like 28 or something like that. The Raiders, I think they beat.
The Raiders, Commanders, yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know who's in their secondary. Maybe they got some Pro Bowl kind of dude there that I'm just missing. I'm not following all 32 teams like that. But the Jags were going to be the next best secondary or, just as good a secondary that they faced this season.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh Allen and that offense had issues in week 1. But I wanted to give the benefit of the doubt week 1. Again, Aaron Rodgers effect, all that good stuff, even though he got injured. But I got to be real with you. Buffalo may have a deficiency there. And I get it. You can still point it was 25-20. They made some great plays, eventually down the line with Buffalo Bills. But the Jags defense as a whole and that secondary, and my goodness, Darius Williams, I don't care what anybody tells me, trying to make a Pro Bowl. He's trying to make a Pro Bowl this season.
He is.
He is like top 3 in passes defense. He got another interception the week before, the interception touchdown. Darius Williams, like, I'm out here. When my contract up? That's what I feel like he about to say. He got a couple more games like this. When my contract up?
Yeah.
I need a re-up shot right after you finish with Trevor. Hey, come on down here. Come on down here with the rest of that money, the residual money. But to answer your question, Kasey, and I know we'll delve in deeper, I think it is a good squad. and I think that they are coming along too. I don't think that they've reached their full potential. Josh Allen missed a sack. I mean, the pass rush
is still a problem.
Is still lacking. Yeah, he's still wanting. But
wanting? They got 0 sacks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wanting.
Yeah,
lacking.
it's not good enough.
Even weighed and measured. But as far as the rushing, we talked about that too.
Yeah, they were great.
This defense is going to keep us in games. This defense is going to keep us in games. And I know that I'm handing it back to you right now, Kasey, but what that saying is defense wins championships. It used to be that way for a long time, and then I started hearing, defense doesn't win you championships. It's like, offense, and, people have their spin on it. And that might be true in the NFL. Defense might not win you the championship. But if you got some imposing defense or something you can hang your hat on defensively, it allows you to take risk offensively. And it allows you to take chances that will apply pressure to whoever you're playing.
It'll let you go for it on 4th down if you want.
So in a way, I think defense still wins you championships. And this team has a defense that I think by the end of the season we can look at and be like, yeah, this is a team that can take you all the way to the Super Bowl. Just tweak a few more things, get a little bit better, get some pressure, please. Get some pressure. Get some pressure. But that's down the line. Long season, Kasey Kuhrts. Good defense, in my opinion.
So, by the way, shout out to Railman in the YouTube chat for helping us get rid of the spam as well. Jim in the YouTube chat on the same idea, pretty much same thing you just said. He just commented before you said it. He said our defense has kept us in striking range in every game, which is absolutely true. And then Railman adding more sacks on defense would be great. Yes, it would.
Is this the same Jim? Is this the same Jim that used to answer all the questions in
trivia?
Yeah.
This is trivia, Jim.
What's up, Jim? Go ahead. My bad. I mean to interrupt.
I'll get to the pass rush in a second. But in terms of their defense, I think their secondary might be great. Not good, great. Darius Williams, he did get toasted on that play, but he recovered and then made the play under Stephon Diggs. Big play. Darius Williams trying to make a Pro Bowl. I agree with you. Tyson missed the jam at the line. They score a touchdown. Okay, that happens, right? It's not great, but it happens. But their safeties are really good. Rayshon Jenkins played well. Andre Sisco. Their secondary is good. Trey Herndon. Anytime Trey Herndon's blitzing, you almost guarantee that something bad is happening for the offense because he's just on fire of late. So I think their secondary is great, which I can't believe I'm saying 5 weeks in. I didn't think it'd be this good. Their linebackers, led by Foye Oluokun, Chad Muma, Devin Lloyd when he's healthy. Pretty good. Pretty solid. Real good. Happy with it. The investment they've made at that position is paying off, I believe. Run stopping. Boy, they stopping the run. That's what we talked about all week with Buffalo, right? That's the evolution of what this team is. They now run the football. They did not run the football yesterday. 14 carries for 29 yards, 2.1 a carry. The Jags did an unbelievable job with James Cook, who had -4 yards on the day. Damian Harris, Latavius Murray, Josh Allen, whoever ran the football, it was not going well for the Buffalo Bills rushing attack. So that is a huge part of why they won the football game, because when you're stopping the run like that, which Buffalo has done so well developing this year and establishing early in games, and they throw off of it, they couldn't throw off of it. And that was a fantastic job by the Jags front. A fantastic job by Mike Caldwell calling the plays, and just fantastic. No other way to put it. Jim in the chat says, so are we going to talk about the BS Josh Allen sack? We will, because now the pass rush, no sacks on the day, had pressure, right? Had a couple of penalties, including the play on Josh Allen, which, here's my take on the Josh Allen sack. By the rule, it's a penalty. I think the rule is stupid. That's my beef today. The rule, I think, is dumb. I think that as he's mid-falling, he's pointing to his head, showing the ref that he got hit helmet to helmet. That shows you how violent of a hit it was, that he was, doing all that as he's still falling down, right? So I hate the rule. But if the rule exists, then I think they have to call it.
Well,
by rule, I think it's a penalty. But I think the rules is the problem. That's my beef with it. So, like, I'm annoyed by it, but also I'm like, if this is how they're going to do it, this is how they're going to do it. But also, you got to call it both ways.
This is the one where because Trevor
face mask to face
mask.
Yeah,
I mean, please. And we're talking about when he like basically ducked into the. Like Josh had a sack, but he ducked.
Yeah, he ducked into it, and they hit face masks.
Yeah, Kasey, I feel like being so black and white with that rule is what is being ordered. But you're right. It has to be a bit more nuanced. You know, the refs, they meet up for all kinds of penalties that are clearly one way or another. They meet up for it. I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe they're just trying to get the time on the clock. Usually they're at the little screen, doing stuff like that. But they'll have the little meetings, a side judge, there'll be 4 or 5 of them there, and they're just talking. I think you meet up about something like that because you can't tell me that every ref on the field was like, oh, of course that was a sack. Now, they may have not had the right view because they're looking at different things at different times. But that right there is almost gaming the system. And so a part of me is like, okay, well, that's a bit of the sportsmanship of football. You see a lot of that, I think, in like baseball, but, because you can maybe get away with a little bit more there. But as far as that right there, because it's taken so seriously, I don't think that you can have that form of gamesmanship. Do I think Josh Allen almost meant to?
Absolutely.
Do I think that he was quick enough and smart enough to be like, oh, let me get this penalty right now? I don't know. But I know that as soon as it happened, he was like, oh, I got this penalty right now. And that part right there, I think you got to throw that out because the defense is at such a disadvantage. It's at such a disadvantage already. They already got to hit him the right way. They already got to lay him down the right way. Pause. They already got to make sure that they don't go for the knees. Fine. Like, I get all this stuff, keeping QBs healthy. I'm with it. We got to hold Trevor Lawrence. Please keep the QBs healthy. But this right here is disingenuous. And, the fact that it was, a penalty, you're just like, ah. But then they called that pass interference a couple of plays later, even though they still got the touchdown to Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
Then they called on like Stephon Diggs or something like that.
No, it was on Kincaid or Knox, whichever tight end was in.
Okay, yeah. So they did that. But, people are playing for contracts, man. I need that sack.
Yeah, it's tough.
I need that one number right there. Kasey Kuhrts told me it's disappointing unless I get to 10 sacks.
It is disappointing if you don't get to double digits. He should have had another one. All right,
he ran by the other one, yeah.
If he gets to 9, I guess I'll give it to him that he got 10 because that is what it is. Jim's saying, and I agree with this, then they had at least a few to call on Trevor.
Oh, yeah.
Here's my thing with Trevor and these calls. I feel like the helmet-to-helmet's one thing. I feel like Trevor, who gets, again, 5 weeks in, is just getting absolutely walloped on multiple plays. Some his own doing, right? The big throw to Calvin Ridley, which we will talk about in a little bit. That was his own, he kind of knew what that was. They were coming after him. But Trevor is taking some hits, man. And the one that I wonder about is the stupid, like, you can't fall on him with all your weight rule.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, bro, I see people are falling on him with all their weight. So that's where I'm like, can we get something here? There's been, and I tweeted this, there's been one every game that I'm like, Trevor is not getting up. Gets up every time. And I tweeted during the game, I was like, he won't make it through this year behind this offensive line. Knock on wood. But that still is a mess to me, and it still scares me. So we'll talk about the offense in a second. But to the overall point, which was Josh Allen and the pass rush, I think Josh is doing his part. He drew quite a few holes. Bro, we lost to the bots again.
Yeah, I saw the last question, though, from Jim, the last comment. I definitely want to talk about that, but finish your point.
Okay, we will do that in a second. Josh Allen was good, I thought. The Jack's Josh Allen.
Okay.
He drew some holds. He drew some penalties. Obviously, that should have been a sack. It didn't happen. According to PFF, Trayvon Walker had a pretty solid day. I think my point still stands from a couple weeks ago on Trayvon Walker. He's just not a pass rusher, right? I think he's really good against the run, which he is. He's just not a stand-up outside linebacker, I don't think, trying to rush the passer. And that is what it is. I think he's good at what they ask him to do. But point blank, they're not getting enough out of their pass rush, period. They're just not.
Do you think that it's a detriment to him if the Jags defense overall continues to play well enough? If they continue to win the AFC South and they continue to maybe even get a game further in the playoffs to get to an AFC Championship game? Because then what, Caldwell is doing is working, even though for Trayvon Walker, we still want to see what it looks like for him to have 90% of the plays where, basically interior, on the line and just do what you naturally feel comfortable with. Do you think it's almost like a catch-22 because where he's at and right now, the Jags are feeling good, 3-2 last season, that second half they made that run and Trayvon's not playing the natural position that he did in college.
I think it's tough. Listen, did you see the Hutchinson play? Yeah. Right. So I think the more that stuff like that happens, it's not going to go well. But again, I think if this defense is good, which they are, I got to stop saying if they are. I think this defense is good, and if they continue or when they continue to show out against some of these offenses, I think the overall point will be in the national landscape will be this Jaguars defense is good with players like Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, because Trayvon Walker's the number 1 overall pick. Now, whether or not that's, necessarily accurate, I don't know. But I think if they're a great defense, he'll be involved in that. And he's a big part of them stopping the run. Don't get me wrong. He is a big part of what they do. But strictly in the pass rush, they're not good enough still. And will it help when Smoot comes back? Yeah, for sure, I would think. Devon Hamilton, I don't know. We still don't know, right? If he were to come back, yes, I think they will absolutely get better there. But 5 weeks in, I think you can look at this and go, they need a person. They need a body. Because then you could free up Trayvon a little bit to push from the inside and stop the run. Can you get somebody on the other side of Josh that's like a whole problem? The chat has mentioned Brian Burns from Carolina.
Yeah, might as well.
You'd sign
guys
me
ain't
up.
doing nothing up there. Just
sign me up immediately. I don't know if I'm trading a first rounder, but sign me up immediately. So I think that's the only thing holding their defense back right now. But I also do believe that you will get another game this year that looks like the Houston game. Because they take chances. They go try to make plays. They blitz. They do this. They do that. They try to jump routes. They will get burned at times. They got burned against Houston. They'll get burned again at some point this season. There will be a game this year we come in, we're like, well, didn't see that coming. They gave up 40 to so-and-so. The hope, just to be real with you, is when they do have that game, it's against a team like San Francisco where it's like, San Fran. But if you do it against like a Pittsburgh, that's not going to go well.
Yeah.
But I do think they will have another game, maybe two like that. But overall, I think they're a good defense. And I think if they can win the AFC South, which they should, and they get in that playoff conversation, I think their defense is coming to play.
Yeah.
Especially in a home playoff game. Again, if they win the AFC South, I love what they're doing on defense outside of, they could use a pass rusher.
And it travels. I'm going to be real with you.
It does.
It travels. Their worst defensive performance is here at home.
But you're right. And here's the thing, Brian. I think their offense travels. Because if they're going to run the ball like they did,
yeah.
Granted, it took a while to pop. That's the run game. But when it popped, he was untouchable. So if they're going to run the ball like that, and they're going to play defense like that, and your quarterback is Trevor freaking Lawrence, it travels. It travels everywhere you go. What was the question you wanted to in the chat?
Oh, Jim, he made more so. I think he formed it in a question, but basically he was saying, Bills Mafia, like, why are they so confident? I paraphrase. He was much more eloquent. If you want to scroll back up, you can read it.
All right. Question for you guys. What other fan base in the country holds their team to have accomplished greatness without accomplishing greatness like Bills Mafia? That's a good point.
Look, man, let me tell you something. And I wasn't going to say anything, but you said that Bills Mafia was making excuses? Yo, these dudes haven't done nothing. They've been around since the inception of the NFL. O.J. Simpson was on their team.
That's crazy.
Huh? Just slicing and dicing. Huh? Pun intended.
Oh, my
okay? He did it. Come on. He did it.
Oh, my goodness.
And then look at this. Then they win.
Boy.
You know what? This is the next iteration of the 90s Bills, except they're not as good because at least that Bills team would get to the Super Bowl. Kasey, I hear they got to the Super Bowl not one, not two, not three, 4 times in a row.
Didn't win any of them.
Not a one. And it got progressively worse. You think.
The Bills were awful for like all of my childhood.
Watch this. I remember, because now I'm old enough to remember the Music City Miracle. Little kid watching that. And the Bills, they won it. They thought they won it. And then the Tennessee Titans.
Sounds like the Kansas City game.
Yeah. They ran like this crazy play. And it was the year that they went to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, y'all still suck. I knew that at 9, 10 years old. Y'all still suck. And then they sucked. They sucked.
When I was a kid, Buffalo was the most irrelevant. Like they had, what was my man's name? Fred Jackson?
Okay.
Running back? He is a problem.
Fine.
In like Madden, he was cool. But other than that, I'm saying nothing. Like there was no, you would never pick to be the Buffalo Bills on Madden.
Never.
For like my whole childhood. And I played Madden every day for hours. Never picked the Bills. Never picked them.
That's like, even if it was a random, like randomized.
I would occasionally grab like Fred Jackson in like a, fantasy draft or something. But like that's it.
And that's a good point. And watch in the chat, yeah, Thurman Thomas. I think he was the running back on those Buffalo Bills team. They had a Bruce Smith. They had Jim Kelly. They had I can't remember the receivers' names now. But now you look at
Andre Reed.
Yeah, Andre Reed. They had if you look at it right now, they got EJ Manuel. Oh wow, yeah, EJ Manuel.
Forgot about EJ.
Yeah,
shout out to the Knowles.
Yeah, good for him. When you look at it now, Josh Allen, he's a good player. Right?
He is good.
They still ain't won nothing. You know what I mean? Not a thing. Huh? Except maybe a division title that I've lost track of. I don't know.
They got some.
But I'm just like, you ain't won nothing. Why are you so mafia? What kind of mafia loses all the time? That means that other people move. I've watched enough Sopranos knowing that you can't lose as much and hold the block down. I've watched The Wire. It don't work that way. You get snuffed out. The Bills Mafia. Bills kittens. That's what they are. Quiet as a mouse. Quiet as a cloud. Yeah, I can talk that talk. We're not going to see him again next year, I don't think, unless it's in the playoffs.
Well, they may play in the playoffs.
Okay, well,
Potentially.
Well,
I don't think you're wrong. You pull it.
Bills kittens.
You send it to him. I ain't cutting it with the OJ in there, man. I don't want that problem.
Good job. That's a good pun.
Oh, my. I didn't even try.
Good pun. Okay. He did it. Like, let's
all right, we got to go to week.
Oh, yeah, let me get the music. Yeah, I mean, what you...
Roll it.
I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just like, come on.
All right.
You ever seen the special where he was like, if I did it? I'm like, bro.
He was a book.
Yeah, that was based on a true story.
I know. It was.
Bills Mafia. That's the only mafia thing about the Bills. If OJ in the building, you're right. I'm good.
You don't want it.
I won't talk no trash. I'm good, fam.
Like, think about
it. Good game. I'm shaking the hand. Good game.
All right.
Wildin'.
Oh, boy. What a wild 30 minutes. You guys missed the first couple minutes when we weren't on the air, but it's a lot of that, but just a little more than that about a different subject. Holy cow. All right. Jags offense. We will talk about that in the second half of the show as we take you up until 7 o'clock. A reminder, we got Raiders, Packers on Monday Night Football. If you would like to listen, it's on ESPN 690, not on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, where you can watch. Just search ESPN 690. Jax, if you're on the radio or Action Sports Jax on YouTube, I should say, everywhere else ESPN 690 Jax. If you're on the radio and you're like, I hear them addressing the chat is on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. You can join it. Just go to any of those locations. We talk Jags offense. Trevor Lawrence.
One more point. Jim, you make a good point. Even when the Jags suck, they beat the Bills. You're right. They do have a winning record versus the Bills. And I remember the Jags suck and the Bills still lose. Was it 9-6?
Yeah, it was 9-6.
Man, get out of here, Mafia. All right, man. I'm sorry. You were
We
doing
will
a great
talk
outro.
about Trevor Lawrence and the day that was maybe his best day as a pro. Some of the biggest throws he's made as a pro in the football game. We talk about it overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton. BRB, I think.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Another nice cool night tonight under clear to partly cloudy skies, dropping into the upper 40s inland to the 50s to around 60 at the beaches. Mostly sunny and a little warmer for Tuesday, the afternoon high 80 to 85. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss Beard's incredible buy one, get one on wedding bands now through October 31st.
Exergen thermometers are proven to be more accurate than non-contact thermometers. With children back at school, keeping them healthy is important. Clinical studies have proven that non-contact thermometers are inaccurate and can miss fevers. Accuracy matters. That's why the Exergen thermometer is trusted and used by medical professionals. Exergen thermometers are available at Walmart and other participating retailers. Choose a trusted and accurate thermometer for personal use. Learn more about why accuracy matters at Exergen.com.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE, the medical providers at Prime Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most advanced treatments to eliminate ED and PE. 98% of men experience instant results on their first office visit. They're even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Don't just take our word for it. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now for our limited time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 904-206-7930. 904-206-7930. That's 904-206-7930.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Are you searching for your next great ride? Then I've got great news for you. Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned has just announced an unbeatable inventory of over 500 used vehicles all in one place. I'm talking cars under $18,000, over 200 SUVs, and more than 100 pickup trucks. Even better, right now, get no payments until January 2024. Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/offers for full details.
The Chief is always tracking to give you the first alert.
Get into something sturdy. If you're in a mobile home, you got to get out.
When summer season in Florida becomes storm season, put your trust in Action News Jack's first alert chief meteorologist, Mike Burrish, to warn you first.
Stop traveling, get to the side of the road, let the storm pass.
No one can get you better prepared before the next storm hits.
Take shelter right now.
Mike Burrish and the Action News Jack's first alert weather team, because knowing first matters most.
Hey folks, Dave Benyon here with Zero Res. I'm here today with my son Ammon. Ammon is the air duct manager for Zero Res. So Ammon, many people may be wondering, why should I get my air ducts cleaned?
Well, there's two good reasons. First is indoor air quality. As we live in our homes, we generate a great deal of air pollutants such as dander, dust, and chemicals. These contaminants are pulled into the HVAC system and are recirculated 5 to 7 times per day. The second reason is that a clean system is much more energy efficient than a dirty one. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, 25 to 40% of the energy used for cooling a home can be wasted. Contaminants in the HVAC system cause it to work harder and shorten its lifespan.
So, what kind of deals are you running?
This month, mention WOKV, I'll disinfect your air ducts for free. That's normally $100.
Wow. So I can get it disinfected for free?
That's right.
Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
It's fantasy football like you've never played it before. You love fantasy football, right? Of course you do. Do you like competing? Yeah. You like winning? Absolutely. It's Fantasy Card Breaks with Davoli's House of Cards. You don't know your team until you open the pack of cards. There's curiosity, competition, and collecting prizes. Visit Davoli's House of Cards off 210 in St. Johns County, or just visit fantasycardbreaks.com. Fantasy football like you've never played it before with Davoli's House of Cards. FantasyCardBreaks.com.
In 1958, the world was introduced to Buddy Guy. Don't miss the legend live. The Damn Right Farewell Tour. Friday, October 20th, the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Special guest, Chris Stone, Kingfish Ingram. Tickets on sale now at theamp.com. The Damn Right Farewell Tour. Buddy Guy.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
The NFL is a wild, wild place. We just talked all in the break trying to figure out who's actually good and who's not as they showed highlights on ESPN. Short answer, we don't know. We have absolutely no idea. What we do know is the Jacksonville Jaguars dominated the Buffalo Bills on Sunday morning in London to a 25-20 victory. They go to 3-2. I'm surprised. I'll say it. I didn't think they were beating the Buffalo Bills. I really didn't. And they would not have beaten the Buffalo Bills if they had any other quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. By the way, overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton, ESPN 690, Brian Middleton, Kasey Kuhrts. But Trevor Lawrence, the stats were this: 25 of 37 for 315 and a touchdown. Also ran for another 30. Was sacked 5 times, Brian. That's a problem, but we're going to talk about positives right now, so I'm going to be positive. Out of those 25 completions from Trevor Lawrence, it felt like 20 of them were big-time throws. I'm talking back shoulder to Calvin Ridley. I'm talking deep in the end zone on the out to Calvin Ridley. I'm talking the quick 3-step drop to ice the game to Calvin Ridley, which didn't really ice the game because then they got the ball back. But you get the idea. That throw to Calvin Ridley down the field where Calvin just burnt his guy, worked to the sidelines, made a play. I'm talking numerous third down conversions to Christian Kirk, touchdown to Zay Jones. I mean, I was 2 weeks in a row now. I said it last week after Atlanta. But the performance against Atlanta was different, right? I felt like Trevor against Atlanta was willing them to a win. They don't win without Trevor Lawrence. This game, they certainly don't win, but this game was like, I'm here, I'm Trevor Lawrence, the number 1 overall pick. I don't really give a damn about Josh Allen or the Buffalo Bills or Bills Mafia, and I'm just going to make big-time throw after big-time throw. I'm not going to, outside of a fumble, put the ball in harm's way, and I'm going to make plays. I thought he was unbelievably great. Did you feel the same way?
Yeah, and I also think it's just a continuation of his maturation as a quarterback in the NFL and what we think he is going to ultimately be. Probably, give or take maybe a couple of more seasons, with some more seasoning to his quarterback play. But if you even think back to last year, a lot of those comeback drives, he had to make passes. He had to make clutch passes in big moments. So it's almost like, even though you're still wowed by some of the throws that he makes and some of the completions that happen, you're like, yeah. I think now as a fan base, or me personally, when I see those passes happen, I am in awe. I am like, this dude is different. Everything that they said about him since he was in junior high school is true. I'm glad he's on the Jags. But there's also a part of me that's just like, of course. And I think that's what you get with the great QBs in the league. You start thinking about, I was about to say Brock Purdy. I mean, I guess I should put his name in it. But you start thinking about the great QBs over the past decade or the past 15 years, like Peyton's and Brady's and, guys who are just clutch.
Mahomes.
In moments. Yeah, I got to say his name. Yeah, Mahomes.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, because he's like one of the greatest. But my point is, there comes a point to where you're more surprised when those kind of throws don't happen, don't materialize.
Yeah.
And I think Trevor, like I said, is slowly working into that kind of level of quarterback. The expectation from us, and I think the more he does it, is going to be, more nationally expected. When people are watching the Jacksonville Jaguars, whether they have to convert third down after third down or are trying to make a comeback. And, another thing that you brought up, Kasey, Calvin Ridley, great job. This is why we got you.
Unbelievable.
This is why we got you. And I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later on in this segment. But I do want to give a shout out to Christian Kirk, not just because he's on my fantasy team as a flex.
Did you win?
I walked Pinto. With 8 players. With 8 players.
Why'd you only play 8 players?
Because I forgot Njoku and them. I guess they were, I don't know. I didn't trade them. I left them in there. I had Conklin right there with 10 some odd points.
Yeah, Conklin did all right.
I could have walked them even more, man.
Jeez.
But it's not just because Christian Kirk was on my fantasy squad, and he's showed up ever since the first game of the season where it was terrible. It was because there were certain moments when it was, 18-13 or, 18-7, when it was in those moments where the Jags kind of needed to keep the ball moving because the Buffalo Bills offense, we knew that the Jags defense had held them under control.
But you thought at some point they'd score.
They would explode. And there were just a couple of passes to Christian Kirk that I know it's only 6 for however many yards, 80-something yards, 70-something yards.
6 for 78.
Yeah. But they were so big in the moment.
I'm telling you.
And then once you really were about to break the Buffalo Bills back, then the disrespect on that single coverage with Calvin Ridley over and over again. And Trevor was like, okay, well,
he's
watch
like, we're
this.
doing it.
So I just a special shout out to Christian Kirk because those 6 catches, about 4 of them, they're all vital, but they were just like, yes, that keeps the ball in our hand.
I think you're absolutely right. And we did this earlier and we'll do it again. Like Christian Kirk, this is not a day that in the stat column, in the box score, if you still get the paper and you see it, you go 6 for 78. All right, that's a normal day. But you're exactly right. 4 or 5 of those catches were 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, and he got 6-7 yards right across the middle of the field. He made a play for you. Calvin Ridley, the plays Calvin Ridley made were more like 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 4, and I'm just going to run past my guy, and I'm going to never really look back and make a play, right? So it was 2 different ways to make plays, but both very much important. And then I go to this part for a guy that never, ever gets enough credit, and it's Zay Jones. Zay Jones is in there, and it just works, man. They are, I don't even know if they're like EPA per play, that expected point. Yeah, that. With Zay Jones on the field, I guarantee you is much higher than without him. Because this guy, he only had 3 catches. He did have a big drop. I'm not going to pretend like that didn't happen. He did have a big drop. But the touchdown catch, if you are, I know you all watched the game, but if you've got 2 minutes, I would invite you to go watch every angle that exists on this Zay Jones touchdown in the back of the end zone and watch something different on every play. Don't ever watch the offensive line because they did not do their job. watch Zay Jones and the route, watch Zay Jones catching the football and getting his feet down, and watching Trevor Lawrence watch this dude come straight through their offensive line, stare him in the face, deliver a dot to where only Zay Jones can make this play, and then get hit late and should have been a flag. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Railman, no news on the MRIs yet that I have seen that Zay Jones and Walker Little were supposed to get today. We'll probably find out more on Wednesday. But as far as I know, I haven't seen it. But I also have not been locked in too much to where I would get that information. And that's a point, right? He also says, I feel bad for Trevor hanging in there as long as he does. And go back to all these big plays that were made. Out the throw from the end zone to Calvin Ridley on the left sideline. Left is the best way I can describe it, the way they're going.
Yeah.
There was great protection on that play. But the throw to Ridley down the field that he had to ice the game, basically, that he's working back towards the sidelines, there's a blitz coming. Trevor identified it. He got lit up, but he made the play. And that's not on their offensive line. Their offensive line actually blocked what they were supposed to do. Trevor knew he was going to get lit up, and he made the play. Same deal on the Zay Jones touchdown. He was going to get blasted, and he made the play. So I think all three of their receivers, being Ridley, Kirk, and Zay Jones, were all so valuable in their own ways. They always are, but this game especially. You take one of those guys out, I don't think this works the way it does. Because they've got 85 receivers that they kept on their roster and practice squad, but they are not performing the way that these three guys are.
I see they've cut some of the receivers then because it was 106.
Yeah, they're working their way around.
I got you.
But those three guys, and then Evan Ingram, who, again, not a stat column day, 4 for 28. This guy, I tweeted this. This guy on every single play gives it 110%. If he gets the football, he's running at you angrily. He's trying to plow through you, and he is trying to get more yards. Every available yard Evan Ingram is going to get. And then the play on the onside kick. That's a heads-up play. When you knew the ball was bouncing over your head, he made a play. And that's the difference, I think, between what we saw on offense for the Jags yesterday and what we've seen all season, is these guys in their own ways making their plays. Right? I know we all wondered on the offseason, what was this offense going to look like? Who was going to be the guy? And I think they were all the guy yesterday. Travis Etienne in the run game was obviously the guy. He made plays. Calvin Ridley was also the guy, though. Zay Jones was also the guy. Christian Kirk, the guy. They were all the guy. You can't tell me differently.
I can tell you differently.
All centered around the guy that is Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, that's well done. That's well. I won't fight you on that one.
Thank you.
But if we're just talking about the guy, not the guy, like 2 E's, the guy. We're talking about the guy, THA. I think I would have to tip my cap to Travis Etienne. And granted, he was more, again, of the backbreaker, pause. But his ability to pound the rock over until it broke open. Listen, Travis Etienne, well done. Well done. 180 some odd yards combined running and catching. And this is the kind of dual threat, specialty that we expect from him, even if the numbers don't always look like this. This is what we want defenses to have to prepare for. The fact that we have a guy who is just beyond quick, fast, explosive, looks different when he has the ball in his hand as opposed to 90% of other running backs in the NFL. Oh, by the way, he has hands. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about fighting. Maybe he can fight. He can catch the ball. So now you got to prepare, because just because he's in the backfield doesn't mean he won't run a route. Don't put your bum, 270-pound, defensive end on him, because he'll get burned or something like that. So if I had to rank it, I'm with you overall, because it's a feel-good moment on a Victory Monday. The man, you can point it everywhere, and then ultimately you got to go where the most important position is, quarterback, and that's Trevor. Mm-hmm. But if I had to rank it amongst the other, specialty guys, I think I'm going to go with Etienne, even though Calvin Ridley would be a close second.
It's hard to argue with you. It really is. But
52-30.
Thank you. I did need that.
Yeah.
The one thing that I will fight any of you on is the Zay Jones point.
Okay.
I just think they're 15 times better than they are without him. And it doesn't get enough love. And go back. I said this a little bit earlier, but not very elegantly. I screwed it up already. But
You said it right the first time.
The point is, think about the Zay Jones plays you remember in your head. They're always a big play. The breakout touchdown against the Chargers, huge play. 2-point conversion against the Ravens, huge play. Touchdown yesterday, huge play. It feels like every Zay Jones play, touchdown against the Colts early this season. Remember that?
Yeah.
Every Zay Jones play, it feels like is a huge play. So he's not the flashiest. He's not their number one wide receiver. Say whatever you want, but I'll fight you every day of the week. Figuratively, I won't actually fight you. I have to say that on the radio. But I will fight you over Zay Jones and how important he is for them if you're arguing it. Now, before we go, we do got to get some of the bad out of the way. Offensive line, not good still. Cam Robinson, a little rusty. He had his moments. He also got absolutely beat on the fumble at the end of the half. That wasn't on Trevor. That was on him. Trevor did fumble the football in one instance. But if you take those two instances, which I know you can't, and give them points, but if you do there, and they execute like they should have, now you're talking about a Jags team that put up 40 points yesterday. That's solid. 39, but I rounded up. Right? And they might be coming around. And by the way, Buffalo's defense is like really good. And they dominated them. They dominated the Buffalo Bills in that game. They got to be a little cleaner on offense in terms of the offensive line. They got to stop allowing Trevor to get hit as often as they are.
Yeah, it adds up.
Because I tweeted this, I said this earlier. Trevor will get hurt behind this offensive line this year if they do not get better. I'll knock on wood. Walker Little, hopefully the news out of the MRI is good when we finally hear it, because that will be a huge loss for them, and Zay Jones as well. So the point is this, the Jags win it 25-20 in London. Coming up in just a little bit is Monday Night Football. For Brian Middleton, I'm Kasey Kuhrts. We're back tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody. I want to eat a spicy chicken in my Tesla. Is it too much to ask?
Are you passionate about addressing health disparities in our community? Raise funds for life-saving research and inspire change for the chance to be named the American Heart Association's First Coast Leaders of Impact winner. Contact AHA First Coast at heart.org